Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here, and today we're going to talk about Lost in Space from 1998, and we're going to figure out why this blockbuster was actually lackluster. Today on Hack the Movies.
Tapes were talking about tapes.
Oh my god, Movie Dumpster, hello!
That's us.
That's you!
Yes. Hi, Hacketh the movie.
The one hack.
Yes, the prophecy has been fulfilled. We are finally reviewing Stephen Hopkins.
Stephen Summers?
No.
Stephen Hopkins.
The director of Predator 2's...
Wait, let's get this
Predator
right.
2.
I almost said, I almost said Stephen Hawkins, and I'm like, wait, that would have been really impressive. Yeah, Stephen Hopkins.
Actually, I didn't direct this, Tony.
Yeah, he's not British, right?
We are
Stephen Hawking.
we're reviewing Stephen Hopkins' Lost in Space.
Yeah,
We
Stephen
have
Hopkins.
previously done Predator 2.
Wait, it's
I'm
his,
Movie Dumpster.
his masterpiece.
Yes.
Piece of recent
Clearly.
stuff,
And we did Nightmare on Elm Street 5, which was like the beginning of his career.
which is also not his fault.
No, it was fine.
Right.
But it's very interesting. I can see why they hired him for other stuff. And then
Ghost in the Darkness is good. I don't think either of us have gotten to that yet.
No,
Maybe
neither
that's
of
a
us.
stay tuned for all of us. For
yeah,
that.
I think Ghost in the Darkness would be a good one
That's
for
a
us.
good one,
That
yeah.
is like a '90s video rental movie.
It's fucking great.
And we recently talked about Val Kilmer and other lion people on
God.
Dr. Moreau.
That's before he gets to the island.
But yeah,
That's
we
before Nelson De La Rosa comes in, dancing and playing the piano, of course.
we finally got to Lost in Space from 1998. What a film! What a film! Based on the TV show. I didn't have time to rewatch any episodes of the TV show, but I will say in the 90s, early 90s, I really liked watching reruns on Sci-Fi Channel with
did
my
the same thing with
my
my
grandpa.
dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. It started off as black and white, but then went to color, right?
For the third season?
I think so. Yeah.
No, it's like the last episode of the first season.
Oh,
It's like one of those
excuse
that they do like a thing at the end of the episode. I didn't rewatch it, but I looked it up.
Okay.
Where it turns to color like a Wizard of Oz thing.
Oh.
And then second and third seasons are all in color. I've
Nice.
seen every single episode. My dad was huge into this.
So you might be the biggest expert in here.
Probably I watched only one episode of the new one because I kind of want to prepare myself. So I watched the pilot of the original.
Yeah.
I watched the first actually aired episode
Yeah.
of the original, and then I watched this movie that we're going to talk about, and the first of the Netflix one.
Yes.
Which you've always told me is good, but I've just never watched it. But now that I watched that first episode, I'm kind of hooked already.
I talked about it a few years back. We did that like good reboots episode, and I brought that in because the Lost in Space Netflix show was really, really good.
I like the first season. I didn't get to see the second season.
Okay.
Is
Yeah,
there three of them?
Yeah, there's three.
Yeah.
End. They knew they were ending, so it has an ending.
Oh,
Excellent.
good.
This
I love
isn't like
that.
other Netflix shows where it just fucking ends. It's just like, oh, never mind, we're done. It's like, oh, you are? I
Yeah.
thought Luke Cage was going to do some cool shit. I guess not.
Maybe. Let's see what happens with Disney.
We'll see what happened. Oh, wow, Daredevil looked like he was going to go through some cool stuff. Never mind then. Well, now he's coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah, the new Lost in Space was really, really good, and it does end. But yeah, so this is the awkward teenage Lost in Space, where we have like, because the old one is very childish, it's very tongue in cheek.
It starts off a little bit more serious, but it absolutely
gets a little
nosedives,
goofier.
especially with Jonathan Harris, like being able to rewrite his character as Dr. Smith to be this wacko thing.
Yeah.
And it got campy as fuck towards the end.
It was very campy,
It's Swiss Family Robinson in space.
pretty much. Yeah.
Straight
with
up.
a giant carrot man.
And hot green women, too. Yeah.
Robots.
Well, that was the thing. Like when people were talking about like the new one, it's like they made a bunch of changes, but it's like, look, even the most hardcore Lost in Space person's not gonna like really go crying over any change. They're like, yeah, it was a fun show, but it was kind of stupid.
It's a campy show. It's a
Yeah.
campy sci-fi show.
They made Don West Italian in the new one. And I approve that change. I
Okay.
approve that change in the new one. I'm like, you
Okay.
fixed it.
I was wondering if he was going to show up. I didn't get through that whole first season, but
And then Smith was Parker Posey in the new one, and she like knocked it out of the park.
Huh,
She's good in
okay.
that. She's good in that.
I gotta rewatch those, man.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. But yeah, so this Lost in Space. So this is like my favorite genre of 90s film, the let's take a corny TV show and remake it. I think the best examples would probably be Addams Family and Mission Impossible, which is still continuing.
There's another one announced.
Yeah.
Also, just Addams Family, like two of the best
Oh, yeah.
adaptations of TV shows ever.
Yeah,
made.
but this was like a thing they were doing back. Dennis the Menace.
That movie holds up so well, by the way.
I mean, they usually got it right.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
Ernest.
So yeah, what was that?
Well, Jim Varney,
Varney.
is the father.
Yes, he was great in it. But they eventually got to Lust in Space, and for whatever
Lust
reason,
in Space?
Yeah.
I missed that one.
There's a little lust in space in this
Lust
film.
in Space. Oh, sorry, I watched the other movie.
Oh, I watched the wrong one.
I watched the
Damn it.
wrong one.
The robots got different attachments, if you know what I'm saying.
Flexo's in that version.
Look, Matt LeBlanc was in the Red Shoe Diaries. He could have been in the porn parody of Lost in Space.
This is true.
Yeah, this comes out in 1998, which was a big year for summer blockbusters. Not all of them good. Some of them are pretty bad. I might be sitting in front of a giant shrine to one of the bad ones.
To be
Oh
fair,
my
I think
God.
Godzilla's better than this movie.
Yeah,
Like
might
leaps,
be.
like leaps and bounds.
It's more memorable.
I think I had more fun with Godzilla.
Maybe more fun.
That's a
That's
lot of
what I mean.
fish.
That's
That's
what
a
I
lot
That
of
is a lot of
fish.
fish.
We can defrost a goldfish, but we'll get to that.
So yeah, they remade this. I was hype as a kid for this because I loved the original.
It was cool. My dad was like super into Lost in Space too,
Yeah.
like because he grew up with that as a kid, just like his dad. And he was like Lost in Space, and it was kind of like one of those movies where you could like bond with your
Yeah.
dad because it was like I grew up with this, and same with the Godzilla movie. So it was like a double whammy.
So I was excited for it, and it is like they were going the one direction where like you can do something like Addams Family, where they really try to make it feel like the show. But this one's like, no, we're going edgier and hardcore. They did a Batman '89 where they're like, he's not wearing spandex in this baby. They're gonna be wearing silvery metal suits that are clearly rubber, especially when you watch them in HD and they're like bending. That's not how metal works. But as an 8-year-old, I loved it. I was like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. And then the robot looked cool as shit. But then I saw in the trailer that it was going to look like the classic one. I saw it in theaters and I had a great time as an 8-year-old. Watched it sparingly growing up. I have the junior novelization here with pictures, which I'm going to talk about later.
Cool.
Saving that for another video wisely, right?
No, I will talk about it in this video.
Oh,
Not enough
all right.
material for a full video, but I will talk about it in this video because
It's mostly pictures.
Huh?
It's mostly pictures.
It's mostly pictures, and there's a few pictures that made me pissed off because I'm like, that wasn't in the movie.
Oh no, we're talking deleted scenes.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
I hinted before the filming of this episode. Big blarp. Anyway. Yes. So did you see this in theaters? What was your initial reaction?
I don't remember seeing this in theaters.
Okay.
I may have. I don't remember. I definitely saw Godzilla in theaters.
Yes.
I don't remember seeing Lost in Space, but I probably did.
Okay.
I mostly remember watching it on TV or
Okay.
renting it or something.
What is your thought?
Definitely saw it in theaters. My dad, like I said, huge Lost in Space fan. I remember, I guess, kind of like it as a kid. I definitely remember walking away from it disappointed, being like, "Hey, this isn't like the show."
Yeah.
But it still was on rotation. Like it didn't like deter us that much.
Yeah.
I do sit here now, many years removed on this rewatch, wondering what the fuck my dad was thinking in the theater. He's
That's
usually
more interesting.
He's usually pretty easy to please, but that was like his childhood. And you always
Yeah.
hear people complaining about their childhood being destroyed. And I
Yeah.
just now wonder, I might call him after this review and ask him. But
He's like, oh god, I've been waiting to tell you for decades. That movie sucks.
Yeah, well,
I didn't want to let you down in the theater.
it's like Phantom Menace. I remember liking it as a kid, but then you rewatch it like 5-10 years later. It's like, what
Yeah.
the fuck was
Yeah.
happening here?
Oh no, this
You're a
as,
kid and you're like,
Yeah.
this is fucking cool.
as much as I liked this growing up, rewatching it, I'm like, oof. Oof. And again, since Lost in Space isn't as popular as the other ones, there's no one like, hey, fuck you, 98 Lost in Space is my Lost in Space. Because there's people who
Well,
say
that's what
that.
I mean.
this could have done with a little bit more editing. It's fucking long.
very
Well, they
long.
did do some editing. Big Blarp is out of the movie.
Some
Big
of it's
blarp-
in that book.
Big blarp in less. I don't even know what time travel bullshit.
Oh god, yeah.
Or whatever.
Because that was an important thing in the TV show, right? Time travel? Oh, wait, I don't think it ever comes up once. Maybe I'd have to go back down the cow. It's been like 15 years since
Yeah.
I watched
They were like,
it all.
Event Horizon, didn't that just come out? Didn't Virus just come out?
Oh god, we've reviewed Virus.
Let's just go to another. Well, we'll get to it.
I
But another
reviewed-
derelict spaceship.
I reviewed the Virus movie, and then on Mint Salad's channel, I reviewed the Virus comic book.
The Virus movie I watched not too long ago with my wife. After your episode, I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna watch Virus, and we watched it on tape in the basement, and it was like, this is fun. Like, it's a good time. time.
Okay, well, let's move on.
It's fine.
I did like the robot doorman.
Yeah.
They built a robot
my
specifically to be a doorman. That was its only thing.
I like the practical effects in that movie.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. So yeah, I guess we'll dive into this film. Oh, by the way, sprinkled throughout the film are the original cast members, or at least some of them.
Man, it felt good to see June Lockhart.
Yes.
I was like, oh, there she is.
But I don't know all of them in here. So
Two are not specifically. Jonathan Harris, the original Dr. Smith, did not, because he was like, I'm only going to come back if I'm Dr. Smith, otherwise I don't do walk-ons.
Yeah,
So he refused to do it because of that.
no paycheck for you, motherfucker.
they were like, we've got Gary Oldman, fuck off.
Yeah. And Bill Mooney, who was the original Will, got kind of rat-fucked, honestly.
Yeah, I saw he wanted to be the future Will.
But
That would have been great.
Well-
Instead, we got fucking
They got Jared Harris,
Professor Moriarty.
and then they redubbed him because he couldn't do an American accent.
Oh my god! What they did isn't good, but
Yeah.
I do agree with the reasoning. At least I think it was the director had that it was Bill Mooney would have been too distracted. People would have been thinking too much. Oh, is this like a multi? Well, maybe they wouldn't have said multiverse in
multiverse.
'98, but
I mean,
Yeah.
technically, it is future.
yeah. But I'm saying like people would have been thinking, oh, is this connected to the '65 version? So I get
Yeah.
it. But then just give him another bit role. Like don't
Yeah.
just excise him from the movie.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
well.
Well, yeah. There's two of them are like reporters.
Yep.
Fucking blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
And the original
Don's like a general.
He's
Yeah,
the
he's the
general,
general who
yeah.
recruits
Yeah.
the Don West.
That's kind of meta. I like that though.
You're the man for the job.
But yeah, let's get into this. So we get opening narration.
Oh wait, well we don't get the dad though. I don't think is in there because he literally retired from acting because he hated doing the show so much. Because he hated Jonathan Harris because he basically became the star of the show. I forget his fucking name.
Oh,
the
yeah.
lead of Lost in Space.
Is that how Reginald Val Johnson feels about Jaleel White?
No, because they both took on.
Oh, I
Family
guess
Matters.
Reginald
It was the mom who got pissed off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the kids kind of got downplayed too.
Yeah, said in interviews that Urkel or J.L. White was a teenager, so there was definitely time where there was tensions,
Yeah.
but not like
I
that.
did see he turned down doing a Family Matters reboot, and he wants to make a movie about what it was like to film Family Matters, and I was like, that sucks. Send Urkel to space again.
Well,
Anyway.
he did do the Urkel Saves Christmas or some shit. The animated one.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I didn't watch it last year. I want to watch it.
Huh.
So yeah, we open up on the late William Hurt, R.I.P.
Who looks like fucking James Cameron in this
he
movie,
does.
by the way.
Could not be more bored to be in this film.
He's even more bored here than he is in Dune.
Even yeah, and then even yeah.
Oh.
It seemed like he cared about Dune though. Maybe he was just going through something in the late 90s.
I don't know. He probably read the script and was like, "Oh fuck."
But yeah, he says Earth is peaceful. Humanity has set aside its differences, and they're building a gate to another part of the galaxy. And then he goes, "Oh, but then there's also terrorists called the Global Sedition." I'm like, "Oh, but you just said humanity set aside their differences."
And they're not aliens.
No, they're humans.
They're other
They
humans.
mentioned some of them are mutated, but it's like, but you just said we're all cool, and he's like, "Oh, but then there's terrorists." Like, "Oh, but they're." So you lied.
Everybody's at peace, but by the way, the fucking Earth is used up, and we're all gonna die.
Right. Well, they don't tell the civilians that as we find out. Also, side note, while this dialogue is being, juxtaposed to us, it could have just been a Star Wars wall of
Yeah,
text.
could have.
It's this horrible CGI space station coming into view, and I'm like, wait a minute, wait a fucking minute. I know this is 98, but is this the first shot of the movie?
It's a
Dude.
Federation ship from fucking
Oh
Phantom
my God.
Menace.
It looks so bad.
So yeah, so there is a terrorist attack. The Global Sedition attacks they're called the Global Sedition, right?
It doesn't matter.
The
Sid-
Harkonnens. That's
the
what they're called.
Sedition attacks the Global Space Force's hypergate that they're building.
Yeah.
Yes, and we have Joey from Friends, Matt LeBlanc. Apparently, Matthew Perry did audition for this.
Really?
That's what I read.
Look, I don't have a problem with Matt LeBlanc in this. I think he's fine.
Yeah, no,
for what it is.
I would have had him do smaller action movies before I gave him this big of a movie.
I'll get to my final thought with Matt LeBlanc.
But yeah, he shows up. I love the look. I love the design of the ships, but
It's just they can't pull it off with this green screen that is a little wishy-washy. And
Dude,
again, the effects are
They
inconsistent.
look like fucking Y-wings, dude. What are you talking about?
yeah, but I'm a little confused. So he has a holographic screen, but he also has to have stupid contacts at the same time.
Oh yeah.
I do want to say these ships and the control panels, the Backstreet Boys had almost the exact same ships in a music video, and I can't remember the music video.
Oh.
And I remember watching the music because it came out like 2 years after this movie. I'm like, that looks like the ship from the beginning of Lost in Space, but now it's a Backstreet Boy.
They got the use out of it.
Man.
And not a Y-wing. I think it's called a...
Is that the B-Wing? That looks like that.
Yeah, I think it might be a B-Wing, but it looks just like the same.
Someone
looks
is
just like the
yelling
ship.
at us.
Somebody's like, you don't know Star Wars, fuck you. And it's like, actually,
It's a
I
ball
really
wing.
do love it.
But like you said about the CGI, it's rough. They go all in on CGI in this opening.
That's a big problem with this movie is the CG.
Yes, but it's annoying because this is like at the height of like the best era of special effects where miniatures looked great.
There are miniatures in this that look awesome. And that's
Later in the movie,
Yeah.
you open up the movie on the worst
it
effects.
feels like an afterthought.
Well, that's why I'm
Yes.
saying it's inconsistent because there was this opening shot that's terrible, and then like the space battle, I don't think looks that bad, but then the close-ups on Matt LeBlanc are shitty.
Yeah.
and then we have like this cityscape later that it doesn't look as good as like a
That looks
Coruscant,
pretty bad. That looks pretty
but
bad.
it doesn't. It's not the worst thing I ever saw. I'm just
Yeah.
saying like it's. The spread is all over the place. They never like they never locked in on the effects. I
It's
guess.
like,
Yes.
it's like Dime Store Fifth Element.
But
Yeah,
well, that's the
yeah,
thing. So
yeah.
this is coming off the heels of Fifth Element and Starship Troopers and these other films that look so much better.
and are CG.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I guess you guys are right too, because stuff in the '80s even looked better. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
think like, how
But no,
did that
like-
even happen?
a lot of Starship Troopers is miniatures and stuff. With CG,
Yeah, but the
there's
bugs are all CG. Mostly. When they're
Well,
moving
yeah,
around, I mean,
just
there
talking
are
about,
practical
like,
effects.
I'm talking
but
more
yeah.
about like the ships, how they had miniatures and they use like digital
Oh, I see
compositing
what
and
you
stuff.
mean. Yeah.
So like seeing this space battle, I'm like, this looks like shit. This looks.
We
really...
weren't there yet.
Again, it's another awkward in between
Yeah.
phase. Like we're leaving miniatures and now. Phantom Menace is going to make us go all digital, but we're stuck. Like I'm thinking of the miniature like ships and stuff from Independence Day look so much
Yeah.
better than
Oh,
this,
right,
and I'm like,
yeah.
man, you're asking a lot for us to buy into this. This looks terrible.
Especially when that was fucking like 3 years
Yeah.
before or 4 years
Yeah, I have to guess there was an incredible crunch on this effects team. It's the
Yeah.
only thing that makes sense.
And then Don saves his friend, who they kill the terrorist, but his friend almost crashes into the gate, and he has to save him. And then they're doing.
I thought it was tone lock for like 2 seconds.
I thought it was Tolo too. Yeah,
He's got that gravy voice. And I'm like, holy shit, is that tone lock? How did I forget? How did I miss that?
He saves them. They're making like gay jokes and one-liners, and then I remember this is written by Akiva Goldsman. Now, look, Akiva Goldsman can write well. I don't know what was going on in the '90s, but between this and the Batman movies he was writing, he must have had this in his head. He's like, it's a big budget popcorn film. Every line of dialogue needs to be a witty one-liner and a joke, and it's just constant throughout the whole movie.
Last one to kill a bad guy buys the beer. Let me give you a little kiss. I don't take this the wrong way.
Is this we were going steady?
You weren't getting out of buying those beers that easy.
And also Batman and Robin. It's just constant. I'm like, dude, can you tone down a little? Like, Matt LeBlanc is the worst offender.
I was gonna say he's the one that's really.
Every single thing he says
Well, he's
is
funny.
like-
He's from Friends. Give him the
Yes.
lines.
every single thing is like a witty one-liner, but like he does it like in inappropriate times where it's not even like funny. And then there's so many lines that are custom made to be used in the trailer, but they feel weird when you're watching. Like, we're lost, and I'm like, why'd you say it like that? That's weird.
There was some line later where
Except
it's
where
like,
you can put it in a trailer and it seems cool.
It's like William Hurt. He's like, well, we don't want to go to space where you could be lost, and I'm like, okay.
oh, there's a lot of we're lost.
And
in
again-
Space TN.
Akiva Goldsman can write well. Like he I think he wrote some of the Titans show.
Oh, really?
So it's like, oh, it's cool to see him write like the worst Batman thing ever and then actually do like something good. I just don't know what he was doing in the 90s where he's like, everything needs to be witty and quirky.
Because it's trying to retain some of the campiness from the original show, but it doesn't
yes.
fucking blend well.
It doesn't work well at all. That was Batman and Robin's fault.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah, but that comedy worked in the old show. It's not working here.
because of what it was.
you almost need everything to look shitty and low budget for that comedy to
Exactly.
work.
I mean, not to go off on that whole side tangent, but like Forever didn't quite find that perfect blend, but it's damn close. Like
Yeah.
Batman and Robin, it goes too far off that deep
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
Forever is way more tame in that arena.
So he saves his friend, and then we cut to a Blade Runner screensaver, which is the shot of the city. And I'm like, oh, that's a rough
It's
looking city.
real bad looking.
Maybe I'm misremembering it. I thought it looked pretty good. I don't know.
And it looks like
Well,
dog shit.
I did watch it for the first time in HD today.
Yeah.
That usually makes movies like, you know how you just said you like Godzilla 98?
Yeah.
I have it in 4K. don't
Don't
bother.
watch it. I
Don't
didn't
watch it
think
in
so.
4K.
I didn't think it really held up that well.
You need to watch it on VHS on a tube TV, and the CGI still looks okay.
Maybe
You watch
they-
it in 4K, and you're like, oh, buddy, that lizard looks like shit.
Maybe that's a Lost in Space recommendation. Watching
Yeah.
on fucking tape.
Will Robinson is in trouble from his principal. Which one is that from the original
That's
show?
June Lockhart, the mom.
The mom. Okay, yes.
Maureen.
And she's like, I don't even know why she's complaining to the mom about Will because he's leaving fucking Earth tomorrow.
She doesn't give a shit anyway. Well,
She's
with
like,
Mimi Rogers is like,
He's
I don't
hacking
care.
into the school and he's doing this, and the mom should be like, fuck off, we're leaving Earth
right.
tomorrow.
This is like a Pluto
No,
Nash scene.
You fucking beat me.
Oh, you were thinking the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he's like transforming the teacher's hologram into different things. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I can
making
see
her
how...
Rambo.
Give me a fat booty. No. And he
Makes her
puts
like
like
a-
a sexy body on her.
And then he makes her like an ape in a bikini.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought that was really stupid. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay. A little kid would do that, sure.
I forgot
he's
to
also-
mention, by the way,
He's also a fucking genius.
loaded cast. We got William Hurt as
Yeah.
the dad, Gary Oldman as Dr. Smith.
Gary
You have
fucking
Mimi
Oldman.
Rogers as Maureen Robinson.
Yeah.
You have Lacey Chabert as Penny. This started my Lacey Chabert crush when I was a little kid.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And if you don't know who she is, she was in Mean Girls, and
Gretchen,
right now it's
Gretchen
just,
Wiener.
yeah, it's December right now. So put Hallmark Channel on. She's in 5 movies a day. You will see her. Still looks great.
Also, voice of Eliza Thornberry, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you have Heather Graham as Judy.
Yeah.
And
Did she
Matt
just do
LeBlanc.
Spy Who Shagged Me? Like, that's in the same
Like,
that's in
around the
pod-
same
Yeah,
year.
that's right there.
Matt LeBlanc is Don West. And there's someone as Will. Literally,
That's Dewey from Malcolm in the
that
Middle.
is not Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle.
Every time he's on screen, I'm like, fucking Dewey's back. It's like Dewey.
No, it's that kid. It is funny that like everyone in the cast was either big or stayed big or got big, and that kid just disappeared.
Why
a little
didn't
bit.
they get, well, I'm trying to think of how old the kids were. I mean, everybody's aged out of it. Like,
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin couldn't do it.
No.
I don't think, what's his face? Elijah Wood could have did it.
No,
I'm trying to
not
think-
this
Oh,
point.
maybe Dennis the Menace kid could have did it.
He might have been able to do it.
I was gonna say they already spent all their fucking money on Heather Graham, William Hurt, Gary Oldman, Mimi Rogers.
It is funny because I look at his IMDb. He did I think he's in like a band or something. So he probably all worked out well for him, but acting did it.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, it's like, wow, that's to be the one person who didn't get famous.
Oh, and they brought back the original voice actor of the robot.
He's actually does the best in
That's
the whole
pretty
movie.
great, though. He
Yeah.
sounds good.
Actually,
Well,
no, that is one of the things where it's a little out of place. Like this voice doesn't work in this environment, but I'm letting it
Well,
slide.
because they keep having Will control the fucking thing
Yeah.
and be like,
Dad.
oh, it's Will
Dad,
talking.
oh god.
Dad,
anyway,
look out
anyway,
behind
anyway,
you.
we're jumping ahead.
I'm
Hold on.
sorry. Well, to be fair, everybody was already famous before they did this movie.
Yes, but like,
Okay.
well, like Heather Graham was still on the way up. Lacey Chabert,
I
this
mean,
is like
she's
her
She
nice.
was in
inter-
a ton of movies in the 80s and the early 90s.
yeah, but like she didn't really blow. Like she became like a
Yes.
megastar, and
Well-
like this is Lacey Chabert's like first big thing.
Sure,
so, anyway, yeah. So the teacher is mad. He's playing with the holograms. He's sad because his dad is absent because he's focused on science, and we see him doing a press conference. Look, I know it sucks when your dad works too much, but when he's like literally trying to
Save
save
the
the
world.
earth, I feel like he gets a pass, right? I feel like you get a pass.
Dad, why don't you take me to baseball games? Why don't
There will be no baseball in 10 years. God damn it. We used too many fossil fuels.
Robin Williams had to learn the hard way with that. He went to fucking Neverland.
Just going to Neverland. So yeah, we see him doing a press conference. Now here's my question. They're going to build a gate at Earth.
They're
And
building
that-
Stargate. Kurt Russell's there.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
They're going to go on a 10-year journey to another planet. Do they not? How fast does the ship go? It's going
Wow.
to take more than 10
They're
years
gonna be-
to get out of the solar system.
I think they're going to
Well,
be
you got the
frozen for 10 years, but in theory, they're going so fast, they're going like...
Okay,
10
but they
ti-
can't use the hyperdrive.
They have the hyperdrive on the ship,
but
though,
they can't use it because
until they find a gate.
yes, if you go without a gate, there's nowhere to tell where you'll end up.
So you just,
Right.
you'll be lost
so
in space.
So yeah. So
Damn.
his family is gonna go ahead of time to Alpha Prime.
Yeah, same idea.
They say
whatever.
Alpha Prime. Where the fuck are they even going?
I think
Yeah,
it's
Alpha
Alpha
Prime. It's Alpha Centauri. It's their movie version
No,
of
but
it.
like, do they know that there's a fucking planet
Apparently
there that
they've
can
been
sustain
they,
life?
Yeah,
they
yeah,
mentioned
yeah.
that they've been mapping
Oh,
the
okay,
galaxy.
Okay.
They've
So,
proven it by this point, according
Yeah.
to the movie logic.
so they're gonna go there and they're gonna build a gate. Now we saw the size of the gate in the beginning of the movie and how big it is, and I'm like, what? How are they gonna build the gate? Like,
Well, they're just gonna push the Earth right through it, and all the people are
no,
gonna.
no, no, no. But when they get to the planet, how are this family gonna
the
build?
4 of them?
Where are they gonna get the raw material? Where are they gonna I'm like, you need hundreds of thousands of people to make this.
They're gonna get slave labor from those little blarps.
I guess maybe
They're gonna make that thing breed.
Because it's not even like it's in the ship, because we saw the size of the gate on Earth, and it's like, that's 5 times bigger than the ship. Where are they putting any of this?
Fuck knows, Tone.
I don't know, I thought that was real funny. It's like, are you sending them with supplies?
They were so worried about the ship and the
Wow.
cryo chambers that they forgot that, like, oh shit, we got to build this fucking thing.
Semantics, yeah. I feel like, unless I'm just misremembering because I watched a bunch of Lost in Space shit in the last 2 days, maybe there's a throwaway line where they're like, well, there's already people there and we're going to meet them there. And when we get there, they're going to help us build this thing because we have the plans to build
They're
it.
not colonizing it like LV-426. They're probably gonna like build a small gate and like have people come through there.
Well, they're going to build a duplicate, yeah. And that's
Okay,
the
if they're
idea.
making a small gate
small
that people
gate,
can
yeah.
go to, then bring the resources,
It's like
maybe.
it's like the turnstile of the universe.
I was just thinking, I'm just like, man, that gate's huge. Where are they going to get any of this
Well,
shit?
they won't have any space pirates fucking it up, so they can get it done a lot faster.
Well,
So yeah,
maybe spiders will.
and then this is funny when they're just like, hey, is the pilot gonna, whatchamacallit, get over his cold? And they're like, maybe. They're like real quiet about it because he's dead.
National secret, Tony.
Yeah, and then we see Penny, and I mean, this is one of the things the movie predicted: vlogging constantly.
I was gonna say that. I was like, holy shit. This is the only thing that this movie got right about the future.
Although
Although
it wasn't-
all these idiots are going to be on their fucking phones 24/7.
Although it wasn't a hard jump to go to because people have been journaling for hundreds of years, and
Yeah.
if video becomes more
mean,
acceptable, it's like, people probably would be video vlogging
Yeah.
their stuff. But it's funny because it's
Penny
almost
vision.
yeah, it's almost exactly like as cringe as it was like 10 years ago when
It'll
people
always be
started.
cringe.
Penny's a weird character too. It's like they change a lot of the characters from the original,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
like, I can't think of a single one that's similar. Maybe Dr. Smith remotely is similar.
Dr. Smith, absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
I think Gary nails it.
Also, by the way, he took this role because he wanted to be in a movie that he could bring his kid to. Because so many of his movies were so mature. You can't really bring little Timmy to Leon the
Dracula?
Professional.
Or
Or yeah,
Leon
the
Professional. Him feeding baby to
Professional.
vampires scarred me. If it was also my dad, I probably would have been a little bit more freaked out.
No, I was just bringing that up because Penny specifically is very vastly different from the original.
Yeah.
But
time.
the original is just such a like whatever. Like, oh, she's just like this little girl who
Yeah.
likes animals. It's like, okay, it's something different. She's upset. She's rebellious. All right.
Yeah. Also,
It makes sense for
I
her
don't
to be
think
like an
It's
angsty
also
teen.
the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of movies with her. I don't think she's ever used this voice again. What is going on with her voice?
What thoughts fill the mind of the daring space captive?
Let me tell you something. I was watching this and I'm like, you sound like like somebody's dubbed you over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's her voice, but they made it seem like raspy. And I'm like, but I'm just like, I'm like,
whoa.
what did I? A few years back, we rewatched like the Black Christmas remake she's in. I'm like,
oh, that's right.
she doesn't sound like that. I rewatched Mean Girls last year when that horrible musical one came out. And I was like, she doesn't sound like that. Why does she only sound like this in this fucking movie? It's so weird.
She doesn't sound like that in this movie, does she?
I don't know. Her
Especially
voice,
when
like
she
a
does the
high-pitched
when she
sound.
does that Penny vision, they put like a modulation over it too.
I don't know. Her
Did we
voice
watch
sounds
the same movie?
Her voice sounds bizarre to me. She's
Okay.
doing a weird
I think
thing with her
it's-
voice.
I think it sounds like she's doing a voice like Eliza Thornberry.
Right? Yeah, like putting it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, I
yeah.
used to love Wild Thornberry.
Yeah, it sounds like she's dubbed
Yeah.
herself over with her own voice.
She threatens to shoot Will out into space.
Yeah.
She's like, you'll explode and pop. And then, by the way, he's not a good actor. I can see why maybe it didn't take off. I hate to say that about like kid actors, but it's like,
They should have got the kid Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle. He would have been
wasn't-
better.
Malcolm in the Middle didn't come out yet.
Ah, shit.
Dude, that kid would have been like 4.
He would have been better.
But yeah,
He would have been funny if he was sitting there with his big ears. And
Dr. Smith, Dr. Smith.
Dr. Smith.
but then she's upset because they're leaving early, and she's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go do what all kids in the future do: go to the mall."
I'm
And
gonna
I'm like,
blow 10 years of allowance
Yes,
in a night.
at the mall, and I'm like, oh, they thought malls would still be big.
The mall.
Oh, okay. I guess
Where
if
were
it-
you going when you were going to the mall? I was going to the woods across the street smoking a fucking blunt.
I was going to the mall.
I was probably going
and
to
then
the-
went back to the mall.
But I've been going to my mall that I went to growing up, and it's a fucking ghost town. Although they're about
It's a shame.
they're about to renovate and put a bunch of stuff in there.
I love the mall. You know what's a fun mall? The one in Jersey, the American Dream or whatever.
I don't think I've ever been to that one.
It's good. It's good shit, man. They got like Korean hot dogs and fucking gashapon machines and
I will say,
rides inside and arcade.
I did do a fan meetup at the Monroeville Mall.
I did see that. Yeah, that place is great.
It was packed. 5,000 people. Unfortunately, it was all women and it was Boys Month, so I didn't include them in the picture. So only the 3 guys who came, I took a picture with.
Fair.
But just take my word, off camera, there were like 5,000 women, and each one of them looked like Sydney Sweeney. But I said, ladies, it's Boys Month. You can't be in the picture.
Yeah, you were beating him off with a stick. Right?
I was like, get out of here.
Like, oh my God,
we're trying to
from Hackman.
we're trying to take a picture with George Romero's bust. Get out of here.
That's why the picture was torso up.
It's a real story that happened. Anyway, so she goes to the mall. John Robinson meets Don West, and Don does not want to go on this mission.
No.
He's like, any monkey in a flight suit can pilot this. I want to go to war.
Didn't you see the opening credits? I just saved my buddy.
Well, that's why he gets the job, because he saved a life over like going against command.
I guess so, but no, I'm actually kind of on Don's side. It's like, well, no, this mission requires like a pilot. It doesn't require like a fighter pilot necessarily.
A babysitter, and that's exactly what he is, more or less. I mean, he's crucial at the end of the movie, but yeah.
By the time they go to build the gate, they contact Earth. They're like, oh no, we were taken over by the sedition. Don West really could have helped us, but you guys put him on your mission.
Is that why Earth got conquered? Yeah.
So he's not thrilled. And he's like, our recycling technologies will fix it. And John is like, oh, about that. We did it too late.
We're too late. Everybody's going to die.
We're too late. The ozone layer is gone.
It's like at 64% capacity.
Which I think in reality, the ozone layer is actually better than it was before. Not better, but like it's repaired enough.
We just have to mention that recycler thing because it's like from the original.
Yeah.
The recycler system.
I mean, it looks like a shithole. Like, I don't want to live on Earth.
Yeah, this
like
Earth kind of looks
like
shitty.
industrial garbage.
So yeah, he's like, all right, well, you're gonna go there because they're also worried that the global sedition will also plant their own hyperdrive and colonize it first.
Yeah, so it's like that weird, like Russian, American, U.S. race to the moon.
This Cold War just got hot.
Yeah.
That's what he says at the beginning. So stupid.
I totally missed that.
Yeah, he says it during the
you,
opening
man.
fight. So yeah, he's got to go, and then we get to Dr. Smith in a desert going, "Where's my money?"
Oh, this like, hologram situation,
yeah,
right?
Like, what the fuck is
They really
going
love
on?
the holograms.
Yeah.
So he is.
You ever see Star Trek?
That's what I thought of, right?
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
It looks like the holodeck.
Yeah.
So yes, he is working with the sedition. They're paying him to sabotage stuff. So he like killed the previous pilot. He poisoned him. And I think he did a couple other things.
He was involved with those pilots.
Yes, but they're like, it's still not enough. You need to make sure you kill the family. And he's like, I'll do it for a lot of money.
An astronomical amount of money,
Yes.
mustache twirl.
He's really having fun being Dr. Smith in this. You can tell he's enjoying it the most.
I gotta tell you, Gary Oldman and Matt LeBlanc are the best parts of this movie.
Yeah.
Especially when they're on screen together.
Well, I mean, Blarp was pretty good.
We'll get to Blarp.
Well,
We'll get to Paul Blarp.
You know what?
Alien cop.
This movie did a disservice because you didn't get to see Big Blarp. But anyway,
I can't even talk about Big Blarp.
I will show you a picture of Big
I'm
Blarp.
excited for that.
Lost, that will be the name of the episode. Lost in
Blarp?
Space. What happened to Big Blarp?
Where's the Blarp?
Where's Big Blarp?
What the blarp?
So yeah, he's gonna sabotage the mission, and he gives like the people like the medical files and whatnot. Don West is touring the Jupiter. So the Jupiter 1 kind of looks like the original show a little bit. We find out it's an outer shell later.
That's
It's a
like
big
another.
fuck you.
That's
It's
what I was
like-
about to say. It's another fuck you. How is that even a homage?
It's like, look, it's a Jupiter 1. Nope. Look,
Yeah.
it's the Jupiter 2.
But I appreciate that they at least try to make the first half look like it a little bit.
Too bad it turns into a fucking flying ocarina.
I like the production design of this, to be honest. I don't know what it is.
Cool. The ship looks cool.
Yeah, I thought it looks cool. I thought it was working for maybe not for Lost in Space, but it was working for
It does
me.
look like you want to play fucking Zelda's Lullaby.
That's what I wanted to do.
So yeah, Judy is worried about the cryopods, and Don West tries to make the moves on her, and then he finds out it's John's daughter.
And he's like, going to dinner. I'm gonna miss dinner tonight, Dad.
Dad.
And Matt LeBlanc's like,
And
Because he's like, hey, I like to fuck that piece. What do you say?
We're doing that cliche.
Yeah,
even though in the show they had instant chemistry and no one really cared. They were just kind of like, all right, sure.
What about you, Doc? Would you hit that?
this sets up the thing where like they make him the horniest guy in the galaxy. To the point it's like a problem. It's like, dude, could you like focus a little bit?
He even admits that he's like, oh, I got a gal at every port kind of guy. And I'm like, all right.
Like,
So
dude,
you have fucking syphilis and shit?
Not in the future. He just takes a shot. It goes away.
Well, she sees the tattoo and he's like, I got a tattoo removed on my back. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that, bud. Some kind of venereal disease.
But
Third
yeah,
arm.
he is very, very horny, and he will get hornier as the movie goes on.
I'm gonna defrost that dead fish. Do I make you horny, Heather Graham?
That's where they got the idea. Oh, Heather Graham gonna be in that. She was in there with Matt LeBlanc.
Get it?
Look at the chemistry.
So yeah, then John comes home and he gets updated about Will's science fair. Poor
kid.
He finds out like the kids are kind of going nuts because he hasn't been around, except for with Judy, who is 14 years younger than Mimi Rogers. So they had her pretty early. In real life, they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, apparently only Judy, but that's because she like works with him.
Yeah, she's on the ship, like working on the stuff.
Yeah, but the funny thing is she's talking about the kids, but like throughout the rest of the movie, it's always like Will, and it's like, oh, Penny could go fuck herself, I guess. Like
just like the show.
I don't even know if John actually even talks to Penny the whole movie.
It's kind of fucked up.
I don't think he does actually.
Because they're so worried about the family dynamic, and it's like Penny doesn't even feel like she's part of the fucking family. She doesn't. She barely interacts with the other kids.
She's the middle child.
Yeah, but she barely interacts with the other kids. She's the oldest.
No, Judy's the oldest.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Penny is the
Penny's
the bloop lover.
Penny's the middle one, the Vogue one.
Oh, Blarp, excuse me.
I thought we were talking about Judy.
Oh no, Judy works with him.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So she is getting attention, but yeah, it's funny because like it's like she's getting attention, but Will's acting out, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, Penny is just, like, an afterthought to everyone. Like, there, at no point does he go, I should probably see what Penny's up to. He's like, I got to make sure Will likes me.
Well, she also fits the emo aesthetic. Of
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Dr. Smith sneaks aboard the ship to sabotage it. He reprograms the robot to kill. What do you
crush,
think about
kill, destroy.
This
destroy.
This goes from like sabotaging to straight up fucking murder mission. He's like, yep, kill the Robinson family and destroy everything. You got that?
Well, if he sabotages it on Earth, they can fix it. If they're away from Earth and then he blows everything up, can't fix that shit.
I wonder how much money he was offered.
A lot, apparently. So what do you think of the updated cool robot design?
I fucking hate it.
Really?
I think it looks so stupid.
I don't mind it.
I'm also kind of like, what do you really do? Because the other one is so hokey in today, even in 98 standard. So it's like, it was an impossible task, whoever was assigned. It's kind of like the Godzilla 98 thing. It's like, no matter what you did, unless it looked exactly like that Japanese Godzilla, people were going to hate it.
Yeah, I appreciate that they had their cake and ate it too, because then they eventually make it look more like the original toward the end.
They do. They try.
But as a kid, I thought it was like badass.
Yeah,
like,
to have
like
the
separating like what it's supposed to be. It just is a cool robot.
I liked
design.
it more as a kid. I think if we lost those middle arms, like the middle part kind of loses me.
Well, the middle is supposed to help you when it becomes more like the traditional one.
Yeah, sure.
But
It
yeah, no, I
makes
thought
sense for what it is and what it needs to do.
yeah, because it is supposed to be like this battle bot, and eventually becomes a more friendly one.
Because like Robbie the Robot's like, he's fucking worthless, man. He's
Yeah,
like,
he really
you know what I
is.
mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you go back to that old style, it's
Yeah.
like,
But like you said, they do give him the circular like dome head, which is cool.
Yeah. But yeah, he's ready to kill. 16 hours into the mission, he will wake up and kill everyone. Thank God no one, when they were checking the ship, turned the robot on and be like, hey, what's your program? Because he would have been like,
Kill
16
Will
hours into the mission, I will kill the Robinsons. And like, oh, fuck, can we get a guy over here?
gotta change that.
No one thought to be like, hey, let's check that robot before we take off.
God bless this voice actor, by the way, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish he was in a better movie.
Yeah,
But like, it's so funny when he's doing the voice.
That's how I felt about what's his face being Optimus Prime in most of those Transformers movies. I'm like, you're still good
Peter
at the
Cullen.
voice, but I wish you weren't in this.
I wish you were in a different thing.
So yeah, he gets betrayed by the Sedition. That guy shows up on the hologram.
He's like, I told you never call me on
Yeah.
this line.
And he's like, thank you for sabotaging. We're gonna electrocute you, but you're not gonna die? It seems a little weird.
We appreciate your service. Goodbye.
I think
See, they were trying to kill him.
I think
Yeah.
he was supposed to die.
I think he's
He's got a lot of willpower.
Will Robinson.
So yeah, the next day they all get in there and their spacesuits look cool. They got the big silver space cryo suits. I always thought they looked
like
awesome.
Purposeful like boob cups.
They really
instead of
the
just
boob
like
cups are very noticeable.
It's a little uncomfortable because it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought they looked cool. They look like
they're
cool
right.
as shit.
Yeah, I thought it was sillier though when they actually get in the tanks. I guess
Yeah.
maybe this was again how much of this was on pre-production and post-production. Somebody fucked up down the line, but it's like they have like those visors that go over their eyes.
Which I mean, predicted like and now every Marvel movie just got rid of suits and it's all nano stuff.
all
I'm like,
nano,
this one
right.
broke new ground.
It
It
sure
did the
did.
nano stuff
But
early.
where's the nipples on the suits?
But when that thing goes on their eye, I forget who they show. Maybe it's Joey.
It's like not perfectly matched with
bad.
it. Yeah.
It's because he's like, I always hated these things, and it's like, man, that roto. Is
Yeah,
real
they
bad.
weren't like quite there. It was still new. It was technically still really, really
For
new.
what they did, it was impressive.
Yeah, I wonder who promised who what. Where they're like, yeah, I know it'll look fucking great in post. Just trust us.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh god, we don't know if we actually can make this look good. Get
Dude,
it as close as possible.
I feel like that was happening a lot in the 90s. They were like, it'll look just as good as this. And I'm like, that had more time and money.
To be fair, we've always done it like that. I mean, look at Ghostbusters. They were like working up to the last fucking second.
Oh yeah,
with those
Slimer,
roto
the
effects. and
peanut
stuff.
going around a fucking chandelier.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, then okay. So in the future, we haven't figured out workplace sexual harassment yet because Don literally in front of the pod with Judy, in front of her family, is like, "Is there room for two?" And it's like,
What do you
"Dude,
say?
you're getting fired." I'm like, what? That's your superior, and also her dad. You were multiple levels of fucked up. Like after the previous one, I thought he would have learned his lesson, but he's like, "No, I'm gonna double down."
We're both of consenting age. Hey.
Dude, wait for her to like thaw.
Hey,
and then
how you doing? I'm surprised we didn't get one of those.
How you doing?
Like in The Rock and some of his first couple movies, he gave him rock bottoms. I was like, yeah.
I was waiting for that one to come out.
So they all freeze, and they like freeze instantly. I don't think you're allowed to turn to ice that quick. I think that might fuck you up. But anyway, it's the
No.
future. I don't know.
It's also the first time I've seen cryogenic pods done like this.
Yeah.
It's always like everybody's in their underwear. And there's
Yeah.
nothing on them, you know?
Yeah, I kind of like this. I don't know. It seems more science fiction.
Right. It seems
does.
like you would need some kind of apparatuses around you.
Yeah, and then this is when the Jupiter one launches.
Is it the
That
Jupiter
chroma key
one?
smoke, huh?
Is it Jupiter one?
It's Jupiter 1. That's the pad to get it out of the atmosphere, and then it explodes to the Jupiter 2.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I feel like most of their ships can go in and
It's
out.
just
but
a reveal. That's
yeah,
all
it was
is.
just like a fun reveal.
Yeah.
It's so
It's
when
like,
you
oh, the
buy.
thing. Oh,
can,
it's new.
can you grab me that real quick?
This?
Yeah, let me see. Is there? Because
Oh,
you
on
could
the
buy a
back.
Jupiter 2 ship.
Yeah, it's on the bottom.
I forgot that it changes
no.
names when it lifts off.
It's not on the bottom right there?
No, it is, but
Yeah,
I
right
thought
there.
maybe it came with like a Jupiter 1 shell,
like a
but it
shell?
doesn't.
Yeah.
It has to go into hyper drive mode. All right, well I was wrong. Then they did it for no reason.
Unless they just don't show it on the graphic there.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
true.
a reveal.
It looked cool, But however, when the launch pad, like the ship looks cool, the pad looks cool, but the CGI smoke, it's like warped, it's like stretched weird. I'm like, that didn't age well.
At first, I wasn't sure what was happening because
Yeah.
he's like, monkey hit switch, and it fucking explodes. And I was like, oh shit, did they just like, was that something that Dr. Smith did?
Oh, I killed them all. Yeah.
Or something?
So yeah, he freezes, but then Smith wakes up and he's like, oh fuck, that robot's about to kill everyone.
He's got a fucking Harry Lime special, dude, from that intercom thing.
So he like ends up like waking up the family to like get help.
Dr. Smith is the most diabolical piece of shit in the universe. I'm gonna die. Everybody wake
Yeah.
up.
Everyone wake up, wake up, wake up.
And they're also like it's 16 hours in, so they're like about to go into the slingshot that's gonna launch them into like the
Yeah.
rest of space. So
Yeah.
it's
It
like,
goes around the sun.
like literally the worst possible time for this to happen.
Well, Gary Oldman's like, where am I? He opens the thing and sees the sun. He's like, fuck. And then the robot wakes up and he's like, kill Robinson.
Kill Robinsons.
16 hours is up.
Destroy Jupiter 2. Destroy cryosleep system.
Why do I have to say this out loud? Couldn't I say this internally and not alert anyone?
I'm coming for you. Destroy.
Destroy.
Destroy the navigation console.
Dude, how fucking annoying is this robot? Like, if everything worked out, they're like, robot, go over there, pick up that log. Picking up the log. I'm picking up the log. I'm going, robot, can you stop narrating? I'm not narrating. I'm not narrating.
Tony, I got a little surprise for you. That's what he does on the show.
I know.
Which is fun. I actually like that he does that while he's just blowing shit up with his fucking,
The new robot doesn't say shit. It says like a few things. The new robot doesn't say shit.
He's got like these like pincers that open up with these lasers that come out. It reminded me of the Dark Overlords from Howard the Duck.
Oh, a little bit.
That's
a
what
little
bit.
bit.
That's what it looks like.
Again, it's a fun sequence. They all wake up
Instantly, by the way.
Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
they
No
all
one's
wake up
stunned.
except for Judy, who was a little concerned about the pod. So that was a fun callback.
Well, it's funny because hers is fucked up.
Yes, hers ends up being the one fucked up. But friggin' like the robot's about to kill them, and then you see Don West come up in slow motion like RoboCop 2. Just yanking wires. Doesn't work. And then Will reprograms the robot with his hacker deck, I think it's called. That's what it said in the junior novelization, hack deck.
Sure. I buy it. He's a smart kid.
Yeah, he like breaks it. He's like, stop being evil. And he's like, I'm not being evil. I'm not being evil.
I love the Robinsons.
I love that Dr. Smith like hits his head.
I was gonna say, yeah.
To be like, I was someone knocked me out. And it's like, hey, there's a sedition logo. I guess they brand their communicators.
Yeah.
You're a terrorist. He's like, you caught me. He's like, how am I gonna get out of this one? And they were like, wait. Your doctor is frozen and she's gonna die. And I'm a doctor, so spare my life and I'll save her.
I feel like that Stephen Hopkins it's Hopkins?
Hopkins.
Ripped like 5 pages out of the script to just get through that. He's like, just burn the fucking thing in his hand. We don't need this shit.
In any other situation, after he got Judy out of the pod, they would have fucking put a bullet in it.
I have so many notes on this. There's literally no reason.
There's no reason for him to be alive.
Or put him in like an actual like better location than the lab where he's just gonna break literally.
I have
all
a note
this
about
shit.
that too. I'm like, why would you put him in the sick bay? If you're
dumb.
sick, you're fucked. He broke everything.
Yeah.
Real quick. Because again, it's been a while since I watched. Is this similar to did Dr. Smith sabotage the mission?
Oh yeah, well that's literally from the show, but it's 8 hours, and like
Yeah.
you know he is evil in the beginning, but like this is like to another level of this iteration of it.
Okay.
He becomes that comedy relief character because that's how Jonathan Harris, the actor, wanted it to become. But
okay, so
which ultimately pans out better for the whole show.
Yeah.
I mean, it ends up getting canceled after 3 years, so maybe not actually.
Hey
But
man, 3 years is a good good run.
Yeah. So they need him to save her. They try to revive her, but it turns out the ship is now flying into the sun. And they're like, we can't pull out. They're like, what are we going to do? He's like, we'll use the hyperdrive and go through the sun because it'll take us anywhere but here. And then I'd be like, what if we end up in the middle of a different sun? Like, that's just a risk we're going to have to take.
Well, then I hope then I hope the hyperdrive doesn't have a fucking cooldown, right?
So they use it. They decide to risk it. And then we get, I don't know if it's quite this, but it seems like early bullet time, a year before The Matrix.
It is.
And I have it. Looks like shit.
Yep.
Because it's just like, they're weird. They're almost like 2D being made to look like 3D. Heather Graham is missing half her face at one point before the camera turns.
I mean,
Because isn't Will jumping and the dad jumps at him?
and then Gary Oldman's like, ah.
I'll give it the benefit of the doubt because it's like, oh, we don't know how it would look if it was hyperdrive or whatever. My biggest problem is that when we get through the fucking sun, it just cuts and everybody's like, hey, you all right? Everything all right?
Because
and I'm like, nobody's falling.
Judy
or like,
is hovering above the table and Smith is jumping and then it's back. They're like, yeah, we're back. It's like,
And he's
I
like,
thought
oh,
you guys were all flying all over the place.
Where was that scene? Was that a deleted scene?
Yeah, they cut that out. They needed to save 5 seconds.
I don't know what that effect is. I don't know if it was bullet time or an early attempt at bullet time, but it was rough.
It's interesting.
It's a cool idea. I think they try it again. You know what? I think they use that effect post bullet time in Matrix in what was the fucking video game movie? God damn it. Based off
Scott Pilgrim?
No. It was like late 90s. It's based off the space fighting game. Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in it.
Yeah.
Wing Commander. Wing Commander has a scene
with those
like
cool
that.
ass fucking cat aliens.
Yeah,
and Matthew Lillard's in that too.
Yeah, Wing Commander has the they do a bullet time effect like this.
No
yeah,
shit. I gotta
but that's
rewatch
like
that one
post Matrix, so maybe it looks a little bit better.
Yeah.
The thing about Wing Commander is people went to see that movie, just watched the Phantom Menace trailer, and then they walked out.
Why not, right?
Apparently that
Gotta
movie.
revisit that shit.
Apparently that movie did okay,
Yeah.
even though it sucked because people were literally paying to go see Phantom Menace and
God.
walking out. Oh, we forgot to. Did we mention at the beginning this movie dethroned Titanic? Did I forget to say that?
You
on?
forgot to say. You told us before the show, but you didn't do it. on the
Yes,
show.
this movie was apparently called The Iceberg. Because after 15 weeks of Titanic
Well-
dominating, this movie came out and they finally bumped it off of #1.
Well,
This
like-
movie ended up not doing super well.
Yeah.
Because they did have a 3-picture deal, and after one, they were like, we're good.
Titanic was #1 for 15 fucking weeks.
Yes.
Well, right, yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like,
I
it's
mean,
not
like-
like, oh my god, I can't believe it dethroned it.
That is like a rare thing, though.
Yeah,
like
it's
1
right.
or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that would ever happen. When's the last time a movie was #1 for so long?
Dark Knight, maybe?
Maybe the Dark.
Maybe,
yeah,
Dark Knight?
Because of with Ledger's death and everything.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we talked about it. We just did Hellboy 2, and that had the unfortunate thing of being released a week before The Dark Knight, and then
Yeah.
and then X-Files 2 had the unfortunate thing of being released a week after The Dark
The
Knight.
only
Yeah.
other two
That one
movies,
slipped right under the rug.
maybe a Joker might have been out for a long ass time like that. I don't know if it was at number
Like-
1, but it was out for a long
Like even like the
time.
Avengers, I don't remember them being #1 for
No, they
like
weren't.
yeah.
I also don't like remember the last time where a movie had more than 4 weeks at all.
Yeah.
In the theater.
Yeah.
Right now it's even less than
Right.
that. If you miss a fucking movie in the theater, it's because it's out for like 4 days.
That's why it's hard to do the wrap up sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easy because they go right to streaming within
Yeah.
the month, and I'm like, good, I don't have to see Trap in theaters. But then sometimes it's like, fuck, I totally missed that movie, and I don't know when it's coming
Which
out.
is also a bummer on the flip side of that. 'Cause
Yeah.
If you don't have time, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks.
They're lost
In space.
in
TM.
space.
theme
They show
kicks.
up. Oh yeah, I have it here. Why aren't they killing Smith right now? And I get that John doesn't want to kill a person in front of his son.
Sure.
I get that, but they said
They have to be civilized, Tony.
they have to be civilized. But it was said earlier that John is in charge unless there's a military thing, and then Don's in charge. That is a terrorist.
Yeah.
Don is in charge.
Yeah.
Don will be like, I know you don't want to kill a guy in front of your son. Allow me, who has killed many people, to take Dr. Smith to the airlock and throw him out.
Yeah, or into in the other room and close your ears.
Yeah.
You know?
Like
What happened to Dr.
literally.
Smith? He just took a nap.
Like literally, I'm like, let's solve the problem right now. Let's solve it right now.
You were almost dead, and now you're lost in fucking space
Yes.
CM because of this cocksucker.
Yes.
Just kill him.
mean-
What is he adding to anything?
No,
And he's
nothing.
gonna double cross you.
Well, right.
Well, it's weird that he's still trying to like double cross. It was like, dude, you're lost. Like you should
In
be
space.
like, you should be like, you know what? My allegiance to whatever, it's done because what are they gonna do? Kill me? They don't know where we are. I don't know where I
He
am.
thinks he's gonna get back to Earth somehow and get revenge on those guys that double crossed him, but it's like you don't have like any handle on this situation.
Yeah,
Well,
wait,
like
if
Dr.
he
Stand-Up.
goes if he goes back to Earth, he's going to either be arrested and executed, or those guys will find him and kill him.
Yeah.
He literally is just like he should be like, you guys are my new best friends.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that whole robot thing.
They forced me to do it. That's something I feel like Dr. Smith.
Yeah,
would
like
do.
again, like he's antagonistic in that original. Not that it's gonna be a 1-1, but it's like, yeah, he does antagonistic shit, but he's not like active. Like, oh, I'm gonna get these people. I'm gonna get them back.
Yeah.
He's a snide ass intellectual dickhead, is what
Yeah,
he is.
yeah. So yeah, they're lost. Don shows off his scar and flirts a little bit more. Who cares?
Fucking syphilis scar.
Penny is still sad about
Sailor
Earth.
Brandy. Sorry.
Penny's still sad about Earth. And then you're right, Maureen and John are debating about killing Smith, which again, Don can kill Smith. John maybe can't. Don should be like, he shouldn't be even asking for permission. You should be like, in this scene where they're like, is it wrong for us? Should we be civil? They should just hear, poof, and they'll be like, what's that?
Yeah.
And then Matt LeBlanc's like, hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Don't worry, guys. The dip took care of that Smith
Put
problem.
him in a broom closet. Why is he in the fucking lab?
That is the most annoying thing, that they put him in the sick bay.
But
No.
this-
Alright, yeah.
But this isn't Star Trek.
Yeah.
There is like they try to put this moral compass into this film where it's like look, if we kill him, then we become the monsters. Like that's not the point of Lost
One
in
of the things
Space.
is that is just they're trying to keep this character alive because it's like, well, he's important in the original show, and we can't think of anything better. So this is what we came up with.
Yeah. So then they see an anomaly and they find another ship and they realize
And then they turn into the Fantastic Four.
Ah, right.
they
it
all
felt
get
like
they all
that.
get radiated into the Fantastic Four. They find a ship and they find out it's a human ship. And they take a closer look. It looks like an alien ship has docked with it. And instead of just going, well, that's
Says
weird.
Romulus on the side. I don't know.
Really,
Remus?
here's what I was saying the whole time. Like, wow, that looks scary. You guys should send the robot in.
Just the robot.
You guys should send just the robot in. Instead, they're like, well, we gotta go in.
This ship
Like,
could have fucking
no.
just returned from a black hole.
Yeah.
There could be some real awful shit inside. Sam Neill could be cutting himself
Yeah.
up. And
again, so they're...
I mean, they do have reason to go in there because they see it's like, oh, it's the Proteus. That's like one of our old ships, and we found like
well, no,
the
they said
log.
it's one of theirs, but
Yeah.
he said he's never seen a ship before
Right,
like
right.
that.
Yeah.
But here's
They
the-
also almost like starts like prematurely like celebrating when they see it because like, oh, we must be close
Yeah.
to Alpha Prime if the
Yeah.
ship's there.
Yeah.
and then this is again with the one-liners. Matt LeBlanc, if this is all a dream,
Why can't there be more girls?
like a horny joke, like
Like-
now, like what was the setup
Is that
for
all
that?
you're thinking about, dude?
By the way, if I teleport it to another part of the galaxy that's uncharted and then a hole opened up with a human, I would just be screaming the whole time. Guys, I would have never got on the ship. I'd be like, ah! Hey, we're gonna send you to the other part of the galaxy. I'm like, that's not where I'm supposed to be. Ah!
I don't know, man.
So yeah, that was a bizarre one-liner.
Is this
Like,
coping mechanism?
yeah.
Right.
And then Penny's got a crush on West. Who gives a fuck?
That was kind of like, I don't need that.
It's like a little like, oh, because she's a teenager or
He's
something.
not playing into it,
No,
at least.
Well, it's fine, but it's also like, whatever.
This isn't like what's his face? Jason
the Professional? Oh.
No, Jason Patrick in Speed 2 with the little girl. That scene was
Oh.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance. I actually was gonna. I brought my Speed 2 DVD to get signed, and I just saw his price, and I'm like, I already shot the episode.
How much
I
was
can't. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Because just for a goof, I'd be like, can you find my Frankenstein Unbound and shit?
Yeah, it was too much. If I had not shot the episode, I would have done it. But
Yeah.
I'm like, the episode already exists. Who cares? Instead, I met the redhead from the new Scream movies.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
And dude, the soup Nazi and the maestro from Seinfeld. That was
Oh,
like the
nice.
Oh, you
highlight
must have
of
loved that. I missed it because I wanted to meet everybody from Killer Clowns because I was like, fuck, they're all going to
Yeah.
be together. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't go.
It was funny because was Mark Metcalf when I was like, yeah, because the movie came out last year called The Maestro.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, when that movie came out, we were all like, oh, it's about Bob Cobb. And he literally went, oh. I'm like, sorry, Maestro. Okay, we mentioned here they left Smith in sickbay, but they're making him go with them onto the mission.
Black is his color.
Yeah, black has always been my color.
You're going to put that on or I'm going to blow your fucking head off.
Yeah, pretty much. He does have the gun.
Yeah.
Throws a spacesuit at him.
And I have it here. Hey, Will, too soon.
Destroy.
Now is not the time to scare people with the robot.
What is
a
that
little
about?
that is really
Dad almost puts two between his fucking eyes.
He comes out yelling, destroy.
Yeah, he's like, destroy. And Will's, what you call it? John is like, ah. And I'm like, yeah,
Pretty
it's too
funny.
soon.
Pretty funny, Dad, right? I made him like a robot.
He should be like, no, it's not funny. It's actually the least funniest thing in the world right now.
But he won't do that because he's already estranged from his kid, so he doesn't want to, like, upset him.
No, in this case, you could beat the shit out of your kid.
But then he's like, I was like, okay, Dad, it's like I'll be there right there with you. And he's like controlling the robot on that
Yeah,
little
because he's
controller.
basically like the robot is now basically robot like a remote control,
Like an RC car.
It's
yeah.
like
the fucking toy.
Yeah.
yeah, because he's basically like took away its like program and it's just a remote control. The robot's brain still exists. We find out.
Yeah. Backed up on a fucking CD-ROM somewhere.
Yeah. So they dock the ship onto the other ship. The Jupiter 2 docks, and it is a miniature, and it looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put this weird CGI thing in front of it.
What
You're
is
like, ah!
Why are they doing that?
I guess because they needed like a thing for the people to walk into, but it just totally clashes with how cool the other effect looked. The set looks really, really cool inside the
set
ship. The
looks
sets,
good.
all the sets look great.
Yeah.
Not so much when the control panels are like clearly hollow and flopping
And, like,
about.
moving around.
Not so much that, but the sets look really good, especially this ship. But the robot saying "Dad" is annoying.
Dad.
Dad,
Dad, go in. Look, turn around behind you.
Mom says, "Get the hell out of here!" Like, oh my god.
Which is kind of funny.
They
but-
made that guy read that dialogue.
Yeah.
The biggest problem is the clashing of the comedy versus the seriousness of the tone of what's
Yeah,
happening. And it's
it's-
like, this doesn't fucking gel.
It does.
Yeah.
It's rough. And then I say I have it here. They find goo, and I'm sure this won't lead to a ripoff of Aliens.
They also find it and are like,
it already started.
they're like, huh, what are those sacks that look very ominous? All right, well, we're just going to keep exploring.
Again, just send the robot in. What are you doing?
The first sack you see is when you're like, all right, we're going to head back now. Leave the robot.
And I love...
Most certainly an alien whatever egg sack.
Right.
And I love that Smith is just, like, not making any attempt to, like, get go. He's like, trust me, those are bad. Evil knows evil. It's like, so what you're saying is you're irredeemable and we should kill you.
Yeah. Well,
I'm pretty sure Don, like, had things gone well, you'd have been like, oh, Smith fell back there.
oh, well, I don't know why he didn't just take him out around one of those corners and just.
Yeah.
Well,
Because Will's watching and the robot.
Oh, yeah.
But also, like, why isn't Dr. Smith in the front with the pistol at his back? He constantly is, like, behind them, like,
Yeah, they
stealing
leave him
shit.
behind.
He's, like, grabbing a fucking, like, remote control off another robot they find.
So that he could use it later against him. And it's like,
how did that even happen?
Matt LeBlanc sees him pocket this fucking thing, and he's like, "What are you doing, Smith?" He's like, "Oh, nothing, nothing." At
Oh,
all."
yeah. He takes a panel off, like, we see an updated future robot, which is, like, a lot slimmer, but it never gets activated.
Oh, that's weird. That's like a new model. I
Yeah.
never saw it before.
And then they play the video, and it's Don's partner.
Right, the journal or whatever. they
Yeah, and he's
find.
just like, this doesn't make sense. And I'm
Tone
like,
Loc is on the fucking screen.
yeah, but it's just like, wait, did Don West not know that, like, time shenanigans is something that could happen in space with, like, black holes and the
They
theory of
set it up.
relativity?
They set it up with.
But he's
with-
like, this is like such a foreign concept. It's like, you're a space pilot. You should know about
The
this.
kid proposes things throughout the movie. Will Robinson.
We
and he's
forgot,
like,
yes.
But Dad, what about X? And he's like, "Shut the fuck up. You're a child." And I'm like,
Right.
this kid
Well-
is making time traveling
Okay, yeah,
devices.
we forgot
for
to
his
mention-
school project.
Right.
Yeah, we
Science
forgot to
fair.
mention. The kid is, so they're setting up that he's trying to do time travel, which
Yeah.
I'm fine that the dad is like, you can't manipulate time
Eh,
travel.
get
You're
outta here.
stupid.
Yeah.
But like the idea that time moves differently in space and stuff, and Don West is like, "Psh, what? It's like, no, you should know this. You should know
But
this.
also there's a quantum theory there with your hyperdrive that kind of ties into
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Like,
it's
like the hyperdrive. Like, why is this so far into you? It's like, I can't believe this.
I'm not having this little kid show me up.
I think the bigger problem is they're trying to do this big reveal that there's a time jump and they've jumped in forward in time and this ship's been here for God knows how long.
Yeah.
But it's just, there's really just no tension to it at all when this should be this massive reveal. It's just like, oh, well, I guess we're in the future. We don't know how long in the future. Huh. Oh, my buddy, he's probably dead. Why is he in that jungle in the video?
Yeah.
Huh, what's that sound? Oh, that thing's dripping. And then that's the end of it. They don't bring it up again. It's like, I'd be like talking about that a little
You're
longer.
right. It should be a reveal. I'm fine with the reveal, like, oh my God, we're in the future. But like him being like, no, we're not. It's like, yeah. we are.
I think that adds, like, that's the problem because of the tonality of the fucking scene.
Yeah.
And that's why none of that tension's there.
Also makes Don seem like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
that too,
I'm gonna go
yeah.
save my friend. He's like, "What are you talking about?"
Again, I know he's
was
trying
only
to,
gone for 42
I know he's
hours.
like making fun of like science. Hey, nerd. Blah blah. It's like, you're a space pilot. You have to know a lot of science to do this.
Yeah.
You don't just be like, yeah.
You're right. A couple times in the movie, at least 2 or 3 times, he keeps referring to Dr. Robinson as an egghead. He's like, all right, you got to stop using that egghead. And it's like, all right, I get what they're going for. Like, use
Fighter
your
pilots have to know like
they're
smart shit.
intelligent.
Yeah, they're not just like, yeah, get her done. Like, what the fuck?
I think it would make more
Right.
sense if he was like a Marine.
Yeah,
You
like,
know?
yeah. Anyway,
Not
They
to
go-
say Marines are stupid, but I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, no, you know what I mean. Like, there's difference.
the grunts.
Yeah. So they go into the hydroponic garden, and then they find
A bunch of weed.
they find
And
a
they
bunch
smoke
of,
it.
and they smoke it,
better movie.
and then they hallucinate.
movie.
They hallucinate. Blarp. Now here's the
This
thing.
fucking thing.
So I
It's
learned a
called
lot.
the fucking bloop in the original. Why did they change
Debbie
that?
the bloop.
Debbie the bloop, yeah.
So yes, this is.
Chimpanzee with a wig.
I guess because it's not supposed to be the exact same thing. Now,
Just use a chimp. Use another chimp.
Why would it not be that? It is the most iconic creature that
no, I'm
that-
fine with them not gluing ears onto a chimp. That seems
too.
good.
My point is, it's the most one of the most jarring fucking things in the movie.
Well,
it looks so bad.
I will
so
say,
bad.
you might have saw Jim Henson's name on this. Like,
Yeah,
the
where,
Henson Company.
where?
Maybe the robot, but also he was a puppet initially.
Oh, look at how good that looks.
I mean,
I
here's
was
the thing. Here's the
thinking
thing.
that.
I
Here's
would
the
have
thing.
forgave it if it was an animatronic.
Well, here's the thing. It was also going to be a lot of CG because it is bouncing
Sure.
around. And
It
stuff.
doesn't need to
It
bounce
was-
around though. He could be a fucking gizmo monkey.
Well,
It's
they
fine.
wanted it to do it. They were going to do the thing where they cut back and forth, and they decided just go all in and make it all
That was
CGI.
a mistake.
But here's the thing. So so internally and in the movie, it's called Blarp. But in this book and in all the merchandising, it's called Blop.
Blop.
So I think what I'm reading, I don't know the definitive thing, but I'm reading that like
BLAWP, right?
Yes.
Blop.
So I'm thinking like what I'm reading is that in ADR later they changed it to Blarp, but all this shit had been printed. So it's weird that it's called Blarp, but then you get the merch and it's Blop, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
If they just called it Bloop, that would have been the end of it, like the show. Well, what was the opposition to Bloop? Oh, that sounds sexual or something. I don't know about that one.
I'll put Blop there for everyone.
Seeing that puppet is really hurting my soul right now because it's like, if that thing was a puppet, I would totally give this movie more points.
Right,
I'd be like,
same.
all right, cool. Like, hey, we got a Jim Henson puppet in it. Fuck
Well,
it.
don't worry, you get another puppet, but it got cut out. Big Blarp coming soon. Anyway,
Does this thing
yeah,
grow like the fucking Hulk or some shit?
I'll show you.
Oh boy.
So yeah, this thing comes
It
out.
fights Spider-Smith.
Oh my god! I would again. Better
Spoilers.
movie.
So yeah, this thing comes out. It's like, wah! And it looks stupid as fuck. And to the point where, like, I guess they did come up with the idea of making all CGI later and probably rotoscoped over the puppet because all the did you notice all the close-ups on its face? The film quality gets like blurry and like so I feel like
There's like a feathering going on.
something must have happened with them painting over the puppet and shit.
That's a fucking mistake. And you know what? Where they're like, well, in The Thing, right? They're like, well, they did it in Lost in Space. We're gonna do it for The Thing.
If Lost in Space can do it.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
Paint over all these awesome practical
if you have enough time, you can have a practical effect and blend it with CGI now. Today, it would look good. Back then, it was a little even
like Grogu or something.
Yeah, but even like the original Jurassic Park, you could tell the difference between the CG T-Rex and the practical. It's pretty
And
obvious.
the
Even though both
practical
look
looks
great.
Fucking incredible, though.
Both look great, but you could tell that there's a difference. Now it's a
maybe-
little bit easier to blur those two.
Maybe that's where the budget went. They couldn't make that look good, so they had to spend all this extra money on this CGI monstrosity.
It's 98. We can still do animatronics and it not be like a bad thing.
Yeah.
Also, like Terminator 2, when did that come out?
1991.
Well, there
92.
you go. There
Yeah.
was the excuse.
Yeah. But yeah, so then Will does
Industrial Light and Magic is the
I know,
excuse.
but it's Lost in Space, for
I know,
fuck's
I know.
sakes.
so the spiders attack. It turns out they live outside the ship, but they can travel through their portals, their web portals.
In my head, I was remembering this. I'm like, oh, this is a cool part. I'm ready for this. And I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah, they aged poorly, didn't
Well, I
they?
was like, my goodness.
That's like look, I love Dark City, but when they show the alien's true form, it's like, don't do a close up of that.
No.
Don't do a close up of that. But yeah, the spiders come out, and we did arachnophobia recently. And I'm glad that was pre-CGI, because I'm like, if they definitely would have done CGI spiders, it would have looked like shit.
Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking it might have looked like.
Yeah, real bad.
Yeah, but then Will does some like early Iron Man kind of stuff where he has the holographic
It's like
suit.
Doom.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
It's cool. It's actually a cool idea. I'm surprised. Maybe they made a video game about this. I don't recall there being
I don't
one.
know, you might have to look that up.
I
and
might
do it
have to
just
look
like
that
the
up.
movie.
Did you see I did the Mary Shelley's
I
Frankenstein?
saw you did, but I didn't watch it. But I saw you kicking Mary Shelley like on the thumbnail.
Well, no, kicking Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth is the second to last final boss.
And you gotta kick her.
And by the way, you live happily ever after with her. You burn the ship, kill Dr. Frankenstein, and you and Elizabeth just go into the snow.
Is that the best ending? Like the S ending?
Is there a part in the game, though, where you have to, like, get past, like, a puddle of that, like...
You gotta slip around with
that
Kenneth
fluid?
Yeah.
Actually, the fluid does spill, and an eel wakes up. Apparently, Dr. Frankenstein had a previous body that he just left lying around, and the eel reanimated.
okay.
Watch the full video, but yeah, Elizabeth literally hikes up her skirt and runs at you like a football player. It's pretty awesome.
I gotta watch this shit. I saw that you did it, but I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Anyway, so yeah, he's shooting, and we see that they eat their wounded. So a spider gets broken.
They eat their wounded.
So then they shut the door, right?
Stupid.
They shut the door to the airlock thing.
Yeah.
And then they are staring at the door, and then the door behind them closes. They're like, why did you guys stop running?
Well, because I guess they figured like, oh, the spiders are blocked off. That's it. This is like a fucking blast door.
But just to be safe, keep running. You have to go back to the ship anyway. Get back to the
I don't think
goddamn
they knew
ship.
that they could like use like some kind of heat chewing.
Yeah, that was a weird thing.
I'm like, what is this
So
shit?
I'm guessing what we're led to believe. I guess Blarp came from that other ship.
There's an alien ship.
Yes, but we never see what's inside that ship. Who
Right.
piloted it?
No, it's the engineers.
Yeah.
And they dropped off the black shit, and they made the blarp, and they made these spiders.
Oh, so Ridley Scott's the actual pilot of that
Yes,
ship?
yeah.
Okay.
Michael Fassbender. It's just like,
Plain
this
as
is my
fucking flute.
vision.
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
Spider.
David's there.
So I guess they were like carrying animals and the spiders got out of hand.
I
And
guess, what was it, like a fucking zookeeper on this
I
ship?
don't know.
I don't know.
I
No,
don't
it was
know.
the bounty hunters from Critters. That's what it was. And they had all the different creatures in the ship.
Well, the fucked up thing is it apparently was the rescue party that it got
Yeah.
stuck there. So actually, it was the people that were there to help them.
They all got
They all got
ears.
fucking killed off screen.
So yeah, they're all fighting with the door, and then Don West gets his cool metal spawn mask.
I always remember that shot from the trailer. I'm like, that looks cool.
That's when they spent money on. They made sure that
Yes,
looked
and I forgot
good.
to mention earlier they had like nano helmets
Yeah.
that
Oh,
like
yeah.
dematerialize.
They look a lot like Dune style. things.
Yeah. But this armor looks awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm shocked he doesn't wear it. He probably should be wearing it for the end of the movie, and he's just like, "Oh, I don't need my special armor for this."
Another stupid line that just doesn't fit right here. He's like, multi-million-dollar worth of weapons. I would trade it all for a can of bug spray. And he's putting, like, the big shotgun together.
Why didn't he put that together sooner?
I don't know, but this is supposed to be his big action sequence, and it
This-
immediately cuts to a stuntman.
This looks like shit.
Yeah.
This whole sequence where these beams and these
Yeah.
explosions, they look like fucking something out of Farscape.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Seriously.
So he holds back the spider, and the robot runs through the door but gets damaged. And then, remember that scene from Aliens where the aliens were above and below the floor?
Yeah.
We get that, but not as good.
There's
These
like a
things look
giant spider that like jumps on him, and he like almost shoots his foot off.
Well, yeah, for
Was
a
there-
second there.
Was there like a giant,
are
bigger
they just
one?
are they that
They're just
big?
that big.
They're big.
Oh,
They're
okay,
big.
okay, okay.
You're right.
It's like
we haven't seen
arachnophobia.
that at this point. We haven't seen them really in scale with a human.
Right.
So
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, that must have been like the big
no,
mama
they're-
one.
I was not arachnophobia, eight-legged freaks.
Eight-legged freak.
Yes.
Sorry, I misspoke.
Which it's funny. I think Tim made fun of Eight-Legged Freaks. Like, I remember liking that movie, but I haven't revisited it in a long time. I wonder if it'll hold up.
It's very slapsticky.
Yeah, I think
I remember liking that.
it is
though.
fun.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw it in the movies. It's like a B movie.
I watched it on HBO when it came out, but I haven't watched it since. I remember it being good. I remember
good
the
time.
scene with the cat in the wall
Oh
being
god,
really funny.
But they're like supposed to be about that big. So you're right. Yeah, it would be on his back at
Yeah.
one point. In fact, it's important because as they're getting away, one sneaks through and scratches Smith on the
Yeah,
back.
But like, does he say the spider scratched him?
he says it bit him later, but it's a scratch.
No,
But I
he's
think he
he's
blames it-
Goddamn spikes have scratched me.
But I thought he blamed it on Blarp because Blarp jumps on him at the same time. And I guess I had this false memory. He's like, that thing scratched me. But I think I heard him say the spider
He
scratched
does
me.
yell, "Oh, that damn thing!" because it distracts him.
well,
Yeah.
because it's laughing at him. He's like, "Stop laughing at me!"
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
But he does
gets,
say the spider scratched him.
he gets scratched. Yeah,
Well,
and
he never says it. He never says it, but like
Yeah.
later to himself, he
Yeah.
doesn't like. It's like a zombie movie. He never announces it to
Yeah.
the people there.
He totally says it.
Oh, right there
He
does
says
it.
I
the
think he-
spider
I think-
scratched
Oh,
me.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
my bad.
hiding it, I think. Or maybe
Yeah.
he just doesn't even know.
There's some. No, he knows it is because
Yeah.
then later he's like, "Goddamn bug."
Oh, right.
Maybe that's just what I'm thinking of.
There's a fucking
Again,
line-
he's a doctor.
You-
He is a doctor. He should be like,
These
get me
things-
to the goddamn lab right now.
These
An
things are
alien
evil.
scratched me.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God, give me every antibiotic.
There's
Yeah.
some. Yeah. Well, he fucking destroyed.
like when
Medbay.
he destroyed, he's like,
Yeah.
oh,
He
fuck.
destroyed it. Maybe that's a deleted scene. Please
That would've
help
been
me. Oh, you destroyed everything.
That would have been a good deleted scene. He's like, hey, my back's with her. And she's like, well, you destroyed our antibiotic,
Yeah.
so I don't know how to
Dipshit.
help you.
Now you're gonna be fall the same fate Daniel Stern did in Leviathan.
As they walk out, locked door.
So
There's a line. Wait, there's a line where Mimi Rogers says like, "I heard a noise that was a sound," or she says something weird like that.
I heard a noise that was a sound.
Yeah, or I heard a sound that sounded like a noise or some shit.
Is it
sounded
around
like-
this scene? I'll listen
No,
to
it was like earlier in the
Oh,
in,
okay.
in the movie, like right when they wake up.
Yeah.
and I'm like, what the fuck?
I gotta
Just-
listen to
just
that
talking
again. I
about
think
the
I
writing
missed it.
before because I was just like, God damn, that's stupid.
So yeah, they mourn the robot for 5 seconds. And Will's like, but I can back up his brain into something else.
they
like,
weren't
okay.
friends.
Yeah, they weren't friends.
It's not like they like.
It was a
They barely
remote
knew each
control.
other.
Yeah, they didn't know each other at all. There was none of that beforehand.
yeah, there wasn't months or even weeks of them
Yeah.
bonding.
No.
Also, I get that Blarp is cute. Why did they bring him on board?
What if that thing has some kind of infection and kills
Well, that was the
everybody?
annoying thing where they're like, oh, yeah, the air's breathable. Let's turn our helmets off. Like, you don't know what's in the air. Like, I get, same thing with, like, Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I'm like, I get the air is breathable. But here on Earth, where we live, there's things in the air that
Well,
can make us sick.
yeah, airborne
in space,
pathogens.
Probably more of a possibility.
What is the one thing that you want to do so badly on an alien planet? Be able to hang out without a fucking spacesuit on.
I guess, but you got to do way more tests instead of me like, it'll probably be good.
Here's
Nobody.
this alien that I never saw in my whole life. Let's bring it on there.
You're 100% right, Tony, because it could turn into a big blarp. Then you got a serious problem.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that too, because later on, there's a scene where there's like these obvious like spore creatures like shooting pollen into the air, and I'm like,
yeah.
all right, well, they should have some consequences from that, and
They're just breathing it in.
it's just there. It's just like in the
Again,
scene,
They
just
got
because
they got space claret in.
Again, on Earth, where we live, plants fuck me up.
Yeah.
A space plant probably would kill me. I'm gonna want to wear a spacesuit.
Spores.
I'm agreeing with you because it's like, what if that like turned your head into mush? You
I
don't
know.
Could, or he
oh.
became a fucking like zombie from it.
Yeah.
By the way, the spiders, they fly now. The spiders are just
They
floating
like,
in.
propel themselves.
Yeah, wait. How are they like directing themselves? I get
don't
that
know.
they can throw themselves into the void of space, but how are they like?
Mimi Rogers like analyzes one of the feet.
Yeah.
the
And
one
it's
that
like,
scratched Smith.
Yeah, and it's like, oh look, these things, live in deep space and they're
Yeah.
attracted to heat and all this bullshit. And I'm like, huh.
But then Matt LeBlanc
Then
somehow
why are they trying to eat people?
I don't know.
because we're warm. We're
Yeah.
hot.
I guess.
But then like, so we forgot to mention that like Don respect John's father. He was like a famous military guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is a lesson from your dad. Oh, never leave the enemy thing standing. John's like, could you not blow that thing up? And he just starts shooting the ship for no reason.
Well, he somehow magically knows how to tap into their security system, and he activates the propulsion system of the other ship, and they're attracted to the heat, Tony.
Which draws it all. But it makes sense for Matt LeBlanc to be like, fuck you, I
Wow.
hate spiders. Blows up the whole thing.
But again, you're lost in space. Maybe you want to go back to that ship.
how
if
are you
can
going to go back with the fucking spiders?
Well, maybe they attracted
They're
a lot of
chewing
them.
through the hull, by the way,
That's true.
of the Jupiter 2.
I don't know. I would like the possibility. I would like the option to go back if I could figure out a way to counter the spiders.
You don't have anything to fight the
yeah.
spider.
We'll figure it out.
I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I agree with Joe, but also I agree with William Hurt because it's like right after that when he blows everything up, there's a massive shockwave which causes them to
yes.
crash onto the planet,
And
which
this-
he didn't think about.
and
It's
this-
also stupid.
And this crash looks cool because it's mostly a miniature going through like
It's
mountains.
all
and
miniature,
stuff.
and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this looks great. And I'm like, why didn't we do this for
Yeah.
the rest of the film?
They're like, pull up. He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. So they're arguing about command.
Yeah.
And Maureen comes in and threatens to take command from both of them. She's like, I'll have Judy declare you guys mentally unfit and I will take over.
Put your
Like,
dicks away.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which, okay, yeah, sure. But I also was like, well, William Hurt was 100% right. Why are you like against him on this?
Yeah.
You're like, you guys, the testosterone. I was like, well, Maureen, you're not wrong, but also like he totally was right to give him shit for this. Like
Yeah.
you just like made your husband look like a fool.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you're married to her? He's like, yeah, get used to it. There's like a one-liner.
Like, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Women, am I right?
The old ball and chain. Lost in space.
And she's actually probably like the most like close to her character from
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
remember. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of funny. That's like, all right, yeah, that's her role. She's just gonna rip their dicks off.
None
okay.
of it is subtle though, and like
I guess that's
fun.
my problem
Like June
with it.
Lockhart can
Yeah.
be like cheeky with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah, the girls study Blarp and then they name him Blarp.
Not Debbie.
Sorry, her Blarp. They name her Blarp.
It's not Debbie though.
It's
Not
not
Debbie.
Debbie. It's not Debbie the Bloop.
Debbie.
It's
Debbie.
Blarp and or Blop, depending on what material you're reading.
Like this thing goes blop, and she goes blarp, and she goes blarp, and he's like, "Oh, is that what your name is, blarp? Okay."
My cat hisses at me constantly. I'm never like, oh, your name is.
Let's note. It never makes the fucking sound again. All right. Whereas the bloop, that's just what it did.
By the way, my new favorite thing is the twins have decided that Space Cat is their favorite thing on Earth.
Oh, they don't like torture it, do they?
No, they beg to see Space Cat constantly.
Yeah.
And they will point to pictures of cats and say Space Cat's name. Because Space Cat is now the default for all. There's literally, we have a Halloween like mat, and there's a black cat, looks nothing like Space Cat. They're like, Space Cat. I'm like, no.
Well,
So then I will bring Space Cat out. I have to find her because she's scared of them and she hides. And I bring her out and then they get starstruck. Like I put him on the chair or the couch and they're like,
wait, it's a real thing.
and
in front of me right
I'm
now?
like, girls, you just screamed for 15 minutes straight for this cat. And then they like finally pet her, and like she's now realizing that they're humans. She didn't know what they were before.
Right.
She's still uneasy around them. She lets them pet her, but she will hiss randomly. So that's the update on the twins. I'm now Space Cat's dad. I'm no longer Uncle Tony. I'm Space Cat's dad.
So you've graduated from Uncle No to Uncle Tony to Space Cat's dad.
They can say Tony now. The one says Tony constantly. The other one still goes back and forth. She'll say it to be like, oh, yeah, Tony. And then sometimes she'll be like, no. And like, she knows it's wrong. And I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Well, you now she knows how to push her buttons.
Yeah. Oh, they're learning.
Yeah.
So yeah, Space Cat outdid me. So where are we at here? Because we were talking about animals. Blarp.
We were talking about the
Blop.
the blop, the blop, the blop.
So the planet they landed on is hostile, but it has an energy source to help their ship get out of there because their ship was damaged.
I'm still confused, like how this shockwave blew them onto the planet and they just didn't get away.
That was just convenient.
It's just such a shitty.
This whole movie is
Shit
the
writing.
ship being sucked into something it can't get out of.
I know.
It happens like 5 times.
Again, it happens in the show. That's about the only connection to
Yeah.
the show where the
Yeah.
character names and that the ship constantly is in space and then it crashes on a planet. Then it's back in space, then it crashes on a planet.
Yeah, pretty much. So I do like that. Where is it? Smith tries to recruit Don into doing a mutiny. Don doesn't go for it. He should be smarter.
This is another. That's what I said before. Like, this is a really great scene because the Matt LeBlanc and Gary Oldman scenes are really good.
Yeah, they're
and this
good.
is a good scene.
Yeah, they're good. I wish they had more scenes
Why
together.
don't I just give you a gun, a loaded gun?
Yeah. It's, by the way, of all the people, so you are, I don't know if he's necessarily with the sedition, he's just working for them, but he should know, like, Don is trained to hate the sedition.
Yeah.
He is the least likely to commit a mutiny.
He is using any angle he can to try to
Don could
mind
commit,
fuck these people.
Don, what's it called? Yeah, Don can commit a mutiny, but it wouldn't be for Smith. He would just do it on his own.
No.
He's not teaming up with Smith.
No.
Smith is an idiot.
Go after the kid, which he does.
So then Judy and Don are talking about stars and shit and how they use stars
Porky
to map.
Pig.
And then they start drawing cartoon
Bugs
characters.
Bunny.
And
then
then
Matt LeBlanc's like, so are we gonna fuck now? Or
yeah, like dude, like
yeah.
I'm like, dude, work up a little bit. Let's
She's
just
like, real? Yeah, right here on the
we
console.
just
and
had
he's
a,
like,
it's like, yeah, we had a cute moment. He's like, all right, my bunker, yours. Like, dude, slow down. Also, you're lost on the other side of the galaxy. I'd be worried about other things.
I do kind of love how she just pours the cold
Yeah,
glass
she
of
pours
water.
the water on him.
He's like, ooh.
way to go.
He thought she was easy. He had watched Boogie Nights. It was like, hey, Roller Girl, I know you're into this.
Hey, if Austin Powers can fuck her, so can I.
He had all her beta tapes.
So Maureen begs John to be a dad to Will. Who gives a fuck about Penny, I guess. And
She's
then,
with the blorp.
and
she's
the
busy.
blurb.
She's pacified.
And then speaking of bad, like composite shots, Matt LeBlanc in the window of the ship as it's pulling out of the miniature. I'm like, ooh, that looks bad.
Yeah.
It's like awkwardly warped. It's
real
rough. And then they do, what is that? Well, I don't think it was Lost in Space. Was it like the Waltons or something where they all say
Oh
goodbye to
my
each other at the
God.
end?
Well, no, it's
Good night.
It's the Waltons.
Was it Little
yeah.
Waltons?
Yeah,
Was
I
it
looked it up
Waltons?
earlier.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, whatevers.
Yeah. I mean, that was cute.
Yeah, except LeBlanc at the end going, really?
Yeah, because they're
We're
calling.
doing this?
But again, like they're not doing that too much. Like
That
all
was
the other-
horrible. Are
it
you
ju-
kidding me? You gotta believe you're defending that
It
shit.
Well, I
belongs
mean,
in a
like, if-
different movie.
If more of the movie was like that, we're like, hey, we're doing the tropes from those 60 shows
Yeah.
and making fun of it, but they don't actually do
but
that.
that's not even a
lot.
Lost in Space reference.
I know, but if it was making fun of that, like,
No, I get what
idea-
you're
But,
saying.
But,
it would still be funny.
If it was in Galaxy Quest, maybe.
Yeah, like I mean, it's fun when like you're doing like the tropes and whatnot and calling them out. But this movie's like, we're gonna be cooler than the original, and then it does this. I'm like,
That's
those-
what I'm saying. This
again,
needs, like,
the
Right,
tone is
okay,
just
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole
the tone is lost in space.
Right. The whole tone of the film should be like the Brady Bunch movie.
Yes.
Kind of. If
Something
they're gonna
like
do
that, yes.
Or you do the thing that the Brady Bunch movie did where it's like, oh, they're like this weird family and everybody else is not stuck in the 60s.
Or you go all in like Mission Impossible. We're
Yeah.
like, we're gonna be the cooler,
Right.
edgier
The edgy
version,
one.
and this one tried to do both, and it was a mess.
They don't mesh.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they see the big bubble and they think it's a time bubble.
They
And
just know what that looks like.
There's a radioactive core that we need for the ship in there all of a sudden.
yeah. And then Will's like, it probably has something to do with my time machine. And they're like, shut up, Will. I'm like, I'm like, well, no, maybe it does. He's the only one on this planet who has tried to make time travel, and now you're seeing it. How do you used to say it's not him in the future?
He's a boy genius.
Yeah.
And he has done other experiments, and that's what he says. He's like, my experiments, that stuff like that happened.
Yeah.
So that could be it. And Mr. Robinson's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
We've also established that there has been a time jump in some capacity.
Yeah.
There's moss growing on that ship.
That they're
Everyone's dead.
That they're not acknowledging.
Yeah.
They're not talking about it, right? Yeah.
And then again, Don is just like, what you call it? He's just like, time travel? What are you talking about? It's like, Don, this was confirmed a day ago.
Yeah.
We've already, this is old
Hours
news to
ago.
us.
That's essentially what you're trying to do.
He's like, wait a minute. You're saying time travel's a thing? Like, imagine Marty McFly saying that at the end of the third movie. It's like, yeah, no, that's kind of like the whole thing we've been
This
experiencing.
thing runs on banana peels.
You're telling me
Wait a second.
that I hung out with my dad? Like, yes, but oh God.
Thought it was just a dream.
So yeah, Will thinks the bubble is related to his time machine. He gets kicked out. They got to get that power because now the bubble is destroying the planet. This time bubble is
I
causing
don't know how they
earthquakes.
deduce that within like 5 minutes, and they're like, "Yep, there's an earthquake, and that's everything's gonna
Plot convenience.
whatever."
But then John tries to like comfort Will, and he says, "Will, you're the most important thing in the world to me, and I have it here. Judy and Penny can go fuck themselves. I guess."
You're the boy. You're gonna
He really is.
you're gonna
favoring the
carry
boy.
on the fucking lifeblood.
Will, you're the best. Not like those two bitches. Like, Dad, Jesus Christ. He gives Will his dog tags, and he promises to come back.
My dad gave me these when he went away,
And
then
he died. But I'll definitely come back.
We got to get this in here. This is going to be important in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. And then Don apologizes to Judy, and then she hints that she might be into him, but he needs to learn restraint and consent.
If you weren't such a douche,
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, hey, if you just like kiss me, it would have been fine. But you try to like pound me on the fucking console, like,
Yeah, where my parents and my siblings could be walking in.
yeah, like subtlety here.
he doesn't actually care about her though.
I know.
Wow.
The whole time he's just been trying to fuck her. That's his whole angle. Like, hey, we're lost in space. We're of consenting age.
You're
Well,
Heather Graham.
Yeah.
And I have it here. Okay, this is a question for you guys because I'm not married, and it doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon.
Okay.
But
right.
she says, "Come home to me, Professor," and he goes, "I love you, wife." Now, do your wives acknowledge you by your profession, and do you refer to them as wife?
No.
Oh,
But
okay.
we do call each other mom and dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife has definitely called me husband before, but it was a lot more loving and endearing than that
Yeah.
line delivery.
I love you, wife.
That was so bad. I had to pause the movie on that one. I was like, holy shit,
It's
he
like,
did
dude,
not care.
William Hurt, like, you're a good actor. Are you okay? What happened?
Why-
He
why
hates
don't-
Mimi Rogers secretly.
She's so sweet. Why don't you just be like, I love you, Professor? Or whatever she is. Doctor, whatever.
Or just
Yeah.
say, I know.
I know.
oh, Christ. No. Now we're blurring too many fucking lines.
Sean, what is that a reference to? Is that a reference to something?
I have no fucking clue.
Still keeps
I
getting
just
worse
love-
all the time.
Come home to me, Professor. I love you, wife.
That was so weird.
And then he
yeah.
says bye to his kids. He's like, Will, I'll be back. And he looks at the two girls. He's like, whoever you are, hope to see you soon.
Did the check clear yet?
He's like, goodbye, wife. Goodbye, Will. Hi.
The other two people.
How you doing?
Good knowing you, Glorp, whatever
My
you are.
loving wife, Maureen, my beautiful child, my whatever son, Will, and the others. I have to go now.
Those other two bodies over there. Bye, Matt LeBlanc.
And the rest.
Goodbye, Dr. Smith. I can't forget you.
And Dr.
But those
Smith, you
guys-
watch out now.
you don't go fucking anything up.
So they're about to go through a time bubble to another time, I guess, on this alien
The
planet.
future.
Yes. And they don't know what's going to happen when they go through this bubble. I would do something like, I don't know, wear armor or a spacesuit.
Throw a stick
Throw
through.
a rock or a stick through.
And so
And
it's
see
like,
if you
oh,
don't fucking disintegrate.
let's just walk through it. It's like, wait, Matt LeBlanc, get your armor. What if this crushes you? What if there's like something on the other side?
But
like,
Tony,
what?
that wouldn't be very scientific.
That wouldn't be very scientific. You're right.
What if they just like went through and like completely aged into like old like man and like skeletons?
Like Indiana Jones 3. Oh my
Wait,
god.
I have a good idea. Send Blarp.
Send the robot.
Wait a minute. Well, the robot's decommissioned.
Give me
yeah.
this.
It's just a
give me
head
that
right
blarp.
now. So the robot's just a head, but I'd be like, hey, wait a minute. Where's that monkey? Throw it into the bubble. Be like, okay, it lived. Let's
Well,
go.
we're good.
Take a shit on the ground, throw it through, and see how quickly it decomposes. If it's like sitting there for a minute or two, still steaming, you're probably okay.
Oh my god, throw an apple instead.
I'm just thinking,
You get shit
creatively.
all over
So then,
it.
speaking of robot, Will's like talking to the robot. He's like, I'm going to give you part of my brain so you like baseball. It's like,
Whatever that means, personality.
I guess so. It's like, this will be convenient 30 minutes from now. So just let's just go with it.
Do you know who wrote this movie?
Yeah,
John Hurt.
Not a fan of the TV show, I could tell you.
Yeah. And then the girls work on the ship. And there's a little blarp is running around. And then we don't see a lot of the girls for the rest of this film.
They help once at the end.
Until the end.
Uh-oh.
We've
Was
come
there a
to
whole plot with them?
They have their own little adventure
No shit.
that they go on.
I mean, the movie's already 2 hours and 11
It's-
minutes long.
I get why they cut it.
It's
Okay.
bloated.
So,
But they could've
by the
cut
way,
other
more
shit.
shot of the puppets.
Ah, the puppet's so fucking cool.
So, while they're going on their adventure,
I feel like Captain EO or some shit.
little Blarp goes through the portal and Penny chases him.
Oh, so they go into the time?
Yeah, they go
Bubble?
into the time bubble, and Penny is chasing him. And what do you know it? They run into a monster, and it's Big Blarp.
Oh.
It's a giant Big Blarp, and it's like talking, it's like repeating things that Penny can say.
It looks like Mikey from Men in Black.
Yeah.
So,
But it's gigantic, by the way.
It looks fucking cool. Like, I would like to see. Do they exist on the disc?
I guess they're on the
There
planet,
are the
those
deleted
creatures.
scenes, and like, here's the thing: they decided so early that they were cutting it that the little Blarp is a 2D animation. They didn't even get to the 3D
Wow.
previs. It's a 2D animation, like storyboard thing jumping around.
Do
yeah,
you have the disc? Because I didn't.
No,
have the
I
disc.
the deleted scenes are on YouTube.
Oh, they are. All right,
Yeah,
I'm
so
watching.
yeah, they find it and they're like, wait a minute, this Big Blarp is little Blarp. Holy shit. So yeah, that's what they're doing. That's why they disappear for so long, and it's just like, wow, I thought they were doing something
Huh.
interesting.
But when they be like, "Oh shit," that means
They
like,
could-
we're dead, or like some what,
They couldn't do some pickups just to
Yeah.
get him in the movie a little more, like something other. Well, we just cut that shit.
well,
now
they
they're just out
cut
of
it for time, and also they had to add a CGI thing. They're like, let's just cut this whole thing.
Yeah, but like also like well then it would make sense because they would see the ship.
Yeah.
They would see their
Right.
fucking graves.
Well, I don't think they would
Well,
where
that
they
too,
are because
yeah.
they're in like a different area. There was a
Oh.
different bubble or something.
What?
Yeah, I think there were multiple bubbles. Anyway, so that was Big Blarp. Don't worry, there's more Big Blarp. I'll tell you more
I
about
hope
Big Blarp.
Blarp was the original savior of this mission.
No, that would be smart. Have you been watching?
Oh,
So, what you got? In the time bubble, they find pieces of the Jupiter 2, and a robot attacks.
but they're also befuddled. Like, Jupiter 2, it's real old.
They're like, oh no, this is us in the future. We all died. Let's run back.
No, that's not what they do.
No, they're like, oh wow, these are old. I
Interesting.
guess we died.
Yeah.
We have to leave the audience in some kind of suspense
Yeah.
here.
So the robot attacks them. They pass out. Smith uses Morse code to get someone's attention, and the robot's like, I know what it's saying. It's saying
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
they put that in all like the branding and stuff. I was looking up like the
Yeah.
merchandise, and it's like Danger, Will Robinson.
It's the most famous one-liner.
They
Yeah.
do it at the end where it actually makes sense, but here, not so much.
Yeah.
Eventually, like as we're getting close to the end here, they start really going hardcore in the
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Smith one-liners. Like, well, he's got like 5 or 6 really big ones we couldn't fit in. We got to just get him in there.
Where he actually feels like Dr. Smith.
Yeah.
Not really. They're just
Well,
getting
this-
the one-liners in.
This kind of starts to feel like him, where he's like trying to gaslight like Will
Well,
Yeah.
to
that
go
part.
on
oh,
like a
yeah,
little
yeah,
adventure
yeah.
on their own.
And well, their little adventure feels very like the show.
No, that's
Yeah.
true. I meant
Is what I
just
meant.
the one-liners
Oh,
being
yeah, yeah, yeah.
forced.
Also-
You're right.
So I assume that you could program who can open the doors.
Yeah.
Why did they let Will have access to the
I
door?
don't know.
You take it off. Once that becomes a prison thing, only Don West gets.
Can open that.
Yes.
Here's a way better question.
Yeah.
Why did they make it so that the guns only work for whoever they're assigned to, but you can just say, make the gun work for anyone, and then it just, okay, now Dr. Smith can use the gun, and I guess if he
Yeah.
opens his mouth to reprogram, he's going to get shot in the head?
I guess.
Because he never tries to. He's never
Well, yeah.
like, revoke code.
I don't think it works like that.
Also, like, Will's an idiot because Dr. Smith's like, I don't know. I don't trust him out there with Johnson. If only I could go out there to help him.
He's still a kid, and I
I
kind
know.
of like that about him because he's like super smart, but he's still just a kid.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
guess so.
Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
I guess so. So yeah, he managed to manipulate him. Also, there's a split diopter shot. I just wanted to point it out. I like pointing out split diopter shots.
I love him too.
Yeah,
I don't know if it has any fucking place in this movie, but okay.
I thought it was good. For
They
this
were
scene,
getting
it's pretty cool.
experimental.
Yeah.
Because it's Dr.
Ah,
Smith.
you like the palm?
It's like it's seeing his gaslighting work on Will, and we see Dr. Smith be like, "It worked."
Oh, the smirk. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they head to the bubble. The bubble gets a little bit bigger. They go into it, and then Smith finds the cemetery for all the women. And it's like, "What's on, Dr. Smith?" It's like, "Nothing. Let's go.
Nothing's
Let's get out of
going on."
here."
Yeah, you could hear like Penny's like penny vision watch
Yeah.
like going off like
Yeah.
kissing, chocolate.
Yeah.
Popcorn.
All the things she misses.
Yeah.
John and Don wake up, and they meet the future robot, and then they meet future Will, who is Jared Harris, who is dubbed over.
I'm your son, Will.
Professor Moriarty
Yes, and other things.
and other stuff.
He's
but that's
in
all,
other
yeah.
things.
He's got that unmistakable face.
He does. He does. He has a really good. I like his voice.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for Will Robinson, obviously, which is
No.
why I guess they dubbed him.
Is he dubbed?
Apparently, he was ADR'd. I don't know if they got a different actor to
Huh.
do it, but apparently, like his accent was just they couldn't get him to sound American.
Why would you cast a guy that's only in the fucking movie for, I don't know, less than 5 minutes
Look, sometimes
that
you
can't
can't.
do the fucking American accent?
Sometimes you cast an actor and you think they'll do a good job, and then you get Lady Gaga and Joker too. You know, it just happens sometimes, guys. Sometimes you cast an actor and
Did
it's
they
like,
see
well,
House of Gucci?
sometimes you cast an actor and they're like, wow, they're young, they're upcoming, they're handsome, people like it. Then they go, hey, can they do a British accent? They're like, no, Keanu Reeves will be fine in Dracula. And then he gets Keanu Reeves in Dracula. It happens. Budapest.
Well, at least him and Winona met during the creation of that film and
Yeah.
became lifelong friends. So they got that out of it.
Ugh. By the way, you guys haven't told me. What did you think of Megalopolis?
I didn't get to see it.
I saw the clip of John Voight talking about his penis. I have a boner. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I missed out on that bullet.
Did Francis Ford finally go off the fucking deep end?
Spoiler, it's not a boner. He kills 2 people after that. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, dude. I
gotta check it out.
So there is the movie's 3 hours, and I did a 3-hour review with Gil and his brother on their channel.
Oh, boy.
Oh, and I got to wake up bright and early because his brother can only film super early in the morning, and we had just a great old time talking about Francis Ford
You were
Coppola.
grumpy.
So would you go a minute for minute on that one, Tony?
Probably. Look, I don't know if it's the worst movie of the year. It's the most fascinating movie of the year.
I want to check it. I think the last Francis Ford Coppola movie that I watched that was like newer was that one he did with Val Kilmer, where he's like Edgar Allan Poe. Twixt.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I saw the one before that,
That was
with
a
the
fucking weird
kid
one.
that was like semi-biographical, I think.
I didn't see that
Tetro, I think.
I didn't see that.
Something like that. Anyway, sorry, we're talking about
No,
like,
no, it's all good.
interesting films.
do
Let's
wanna-
get back to Lost in
Oh,
Space.
right.
The most interesting film ever made.
Let me know.
obviously.
Let me know if you watch Megalo. It's one of
Brain
those just
dead.
like you gotta watch it just once,
Yeah.
just to see the insane vanity. I appreciate what he was trying to do.
Yeah, I want to check it out.
It is Coppola.
Yeah,
Give him his roses.
yeah,
Or
It's-
something.
It's. I kind of wanted to see it again, but I
Selling
didn't have
that
time.
wine, baby.
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah, no, it's not bad.
He tells them, like, hey, wouldn't you believe it, Dad? Those spiders survived and they killed everyone. And
I didn't see him do it though.
I didn't see him do it, but don't worry, Dad. I've been holding on to the dog tags.
Frick, you never came back.
Yeah, you never came back. And then while this is happening, we cut to young Will with Dr. Smith. And I do like where he goes, oh, shit. And Dr. Smith's like, person as smart as you should not be doing this. And he goes, he's like, oh, shit.
Well,
that's another example of like turning the trope on its head.
Yes, which is a fun thing because again, like Sean was just saying, like that part where they're walking through to get to the bubble feels the most like Lost in Space with him and with Smith and Will.
Yeah.
Should have been more of that.
Right?
They're trying to make Dr. Smith so fucking evil down to the final minute. And it's just like, I get it, but also like it detracts from the rest of the movie.
He's evil to the end.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because that stuff could have been more fun if there was more of that with him and Will. Yeah.
So then future Will shows him the time machine. He repurposed the hyperdrive to
Also, can
power
we
his
just talk
time
about
machine.
how future Will looks like he was like sitting next to the radiation machine
Yeah, he really
with the
does. He
long
looks-
hair, and
he looks
like
rough.
he hasn't taken a shower in literally 30
He's probably
years.
malnourished. I
Looks
mean,
like a fucking melted candy bar. This guy.
Not to cut you off, sorry. I
No,
don't
that's
know,
fine.
people might not have the visual. That's all.
he looks rough. So yeah, John is afraid. He's like, hey, look, I'm glad he did this. His plan is to go back in time and stop them. Or I guess his plan is to go back in time and get Dr. Smith off the ship.
Hold on. Your dirty, unkempt ass is gonna fucking go through this time warp in space. In space, by the way, he's like, look, there's Earth. This is. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna go down there and be like, don't get on that ship.
This is gonna be like Invasion of the Body
I
Snatchers.
mean,
Everyone's gonna
go
think you're
early
nuts.
enough and be like, before the ship goes up, check the robot, check the garbage chute. There's a man in the garbage chute. There's a robot programmed to kill. Take my word for it.
He doesn't know where Smith is, so like, is he just gonna take it from his
right,
own accord
yeah.
and kill Smith?
He could just be
DNA
like,
test me. I'm Will Robinson from the
or he
future.
could be
God
like-
damn it.
He could be, honestly, if I was him, I know people would have trouble believing it. It's like, hey, look, I'm a terrorist. Let me leak our plan to you. He can pose as a terrorist. There's ways he could do it.
I
mean,
don't
if we're
think he's
getting-
thinking that much.
If we're thinking that hypothetically about it, if we're really getting deep down into this, he should just go back a few days before they launch and like go to like the right person who maybe dad even, and be like, hey, yada yada, do the blood test. Let's talk to some generals. Let's not let Dr. Smith know. Let's capture him in the act.
The darkest twist of them all, he goes back and just murders his whole family.
Oh, well, right, yeah, right,
before they-
exactly.
like in their sleep, like peacefully.
That was his real plan, right?
Here's the thing. His plan makes more sense than the next plan we're about to hear, but let's
Well,
get
sure.
to that.
Sure.
Everything
we just said is pointless, so it doesn't matter, right?
Yes. So he shows him the time machine. John theorizes that the time bubble that's ripping across the planet, he's just like, hey, if you do this on Earth, what's to stop a bubble from destroying Earth? You probably shouldn't do that.
Never thought about that.
Yeah, he's like, oh.
That's what I mean. He like didn't have a fucking. What was the plan?
And that's like after they've been like captured and talking for like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, by the way, you know, a little boy couldn't have survived on his own, right? And they're like, yeah, actually, now that you mention it.
And they were like,
Yes.
the robot.
Whoa,
of course.
Oh, we're almost there. First, Smith has to turn on young Will with the gun.
Right.
And then he shows up, he turns off the future robot because he stole the remote and reprogrammed it.
Now it's a
Then
murder
this
robot.
is when he's all like, haha, I will be going back in time and doing this. And then this is when you find out. He's like, oh, I'm here with someone else. And we get Spider
Smith. I mentioned him briefly earlier, but here
Spider
he is.
Smith.
General Grievous.
Spider Smith, I will say the cloak and everything looks really cool.
That part's cool.
Doesn't
That
compare to
was cool.
Spider Mitten.
Should have
The-
Mitten Spider.
Mitten Spider from Leprechaun.
The face and the hands look like Species and Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
when the cloak is on it, it covers it up enough. It's still stupid and looks bad, but the cloak makes it look really cool.
Yeah, it looks like Syl fuck.
But
General
yeah,
Grievous.
I don't know if I'd say really cool, but cool. Okay.
Yeah, but
I
we
mean, it's
find
a
out
little
that
mysterious.
Smith is like, yes, I've been taking care of this boy, and also that spider turned me into a
I'm
Spider-Man.
his dad now.
Yes, I am
No
his father.
TM this time.
Oh, you know what? He looks like Vertigo in fucking Resident Evil 4 when he's got the cloak on.
Yeah.
Oh, a little
Mr.
bit.
Kennedy, meet my left hand.
Yeah, those like predator monsters. Yeah.
He makes them prisoner. He's like, all right, finish your portal, Will, and make them robot. You're imprisoning them. Make sure they don't move. And then Will does a Terminator 3 where he gets the robot to ignore its programming with love. I don't know what's going on here.
Did they do that in T3?
In Terminator 3, the TX reprograms the Terminator, and it's like, hey, your mission is to protect me. You're about to break your mission, and it like shorts out.
Right, okay.
Because he's got two protocols and they contradict.
Yeah.
That's one thing. If you have two protocols, and
Yeah, it doesn't really work here.
In this one, he's
Right.
just like, remember when I put baseball in your head? We're friends. And the robot's like, I don't have friends. Fuck you.
Yeah, my heart was removed from my protocol.
Yeah.
And then it like short circuits and it rips the thing off, and he's like, "I'm all better now."
Johnny Five is alive. Johnny Five is alive.
I will save Will Robinson.
No disassemble.
You got to do it with the point. No disassemble.
He also has like a third arm occasionally. Not in every shot.
because one arm broke off the robot and went into the Jupiter 2 when the robot stayed behind. So he was able to like reuse that.
I got news for you. It's not an arm.
Whatever the hell it is.
My probing device.
So they break out. John's like, Don, go back to the ship. You're the pilot. You have to go back and help my family. Bring everyone back with you. And then he tries to reason with future Will. He's like, come on, don't do this.
Come back with us. And I'm like, you can't take him with you.
Yes.
Well, he's either going to reason with them or just steal that energy. It's like either or.
Yeah.
Judy shoots rockets into the bubble. Again, their whole plot line has been cut out at this point, so now it cuts back to them being like, we should shoot rockets into the bubble.
Because they're like flares, though.
They're like, let's just see what happens.
But you can reprogram the flares to look like Daffy Duck. That was a little confusing.
Or was it Daffy Duck? Or was
Daffy
it Bugs
Duck.
Bunny?
No, 'cause they drew Porky Pig and Bugs Bunny, and then she shoots Daffy Duck.
Right. That didn't look horrible. It's like later when the like flares and missiles are getting shot off as they're trying to escape. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
The budget ran dry.
So that's to help them get back, because I guess they didn't have the radiation detector to get back. I don't know. It was a little confusing.
Whatever.
Something.
And then they stumble on Dr. Smith, and then they rescue him.
Oh, because he got thrown off the side at one point.
Well, Smith kicked himself off the side. Spider-Smith kicked Gary Oldman Smith off the side.
But
300 style, right.
Oh, yeah.
Again, if I'm done and I know Will's there, I'll be like, oh, what do you know? No pulse. And just take off.
Just leave him there. Why
or just leave him there.
Yeah.
By the way, especially knowing that he turns into that fucking thing.
Exactly. He's still going to turn into fucking Spider-Smith.
Well, they thought he looked kind of cool, like you guys were saying. They didn't see him with the cloak off yet. When his neck turns into fucking rubber.
He's like, damn.
He turns into fucking Edgar.
He's like, damn, he's alive. It's like, just lie to Will and just leave. Also, Will should probably be like, please don't bring him back on the ship. He looks like a Spider-Man.
He tried to kill me, Dad.
Yeah.
This is like the third time he's tried to kill us.
He's gonna keep doing it.
Right, and he's gonna, you're right, yeah, he's a spider. He's eventually gonna transfer. They didn't find the solution to his affliction.
No.
And again, he
growing in him.
He destroyed the lab. Who knows if there even is a solution?
There is
no
gone.
solution.
So, anyway, we cut back and it's Will talking to Smith, and they have a weird relationship because he's like, tell me again, old monster. I'm like, oh, that's not very civil. Okay. He's like, how did the women die? He's like, I told you, spiders ate them. He's like, yeah, that's the weird thing. I haven't seen any spiders except for you, obviously. And he's like, oh. And then he's like, hey, wait a minute. This portal's not big enough. He's like, it's big enough for me, Smith. And it's like, Will, how are you being gaslit this much? Jesus fucking Christ.
I guess he's like so into his work, he was just convincing him. He's gaslighting himself that this is going to work out, not thinking like, this guy who's the only one left, who's with me, the guy who also like broke into the ship, by the way, to try to kill us in the first place. He's definitely not evil, right?
No, he's just waiting for you to finish the machine.
I'm sure the spider DNA that's rewriting him isn't fucking with his brain and making him want to do evil spider shit.
Also, like
even more so.
Will was there in the robot on the ship when he was like, evil knows evil. So it's not like he's unaware of that also. Side note.
He doesn't want to believe it. He's going to be alone, a very lonely little boy without spiders.
But, okay.
You're not wrong.
By the way, every time spiders, I didn't realize how annoying it was. I get that he's heavy and he's stepping on a metal grate, but hearing clink, 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 like while people are talking, I'm like, oh my God.
Stand still.
Clink, clink,
Somebody
clink.
get him some fucking shoes.
I know. He's just like, and then clink, clink. I'm like, I can't not focus on the clinks.
Stop moving. What did you say?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you not walk for a second? What are you saying?
Clink, 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 clink,
Okay,
clink,
gotcha. So he reveals his spider form, and it is like Species, where like with the shot when it's just it's got like a flat background. It doesn't. The camera stops moving as much.
The head moves around. It looks horrible.
It looks like fucking Kane in RoboCop 2's face.
Men in Black came out, 2 years before this?
And looked way better. Yes.
And looked amazing.
A lot of stuff did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not on camera for that long.
No, but it looks
That's
so
the
fucking...
weird...
It looks like Reboot.
It
it's
looks
so
really
There's
bad.
a couple shots. There's this and one of the scenes when they're escaping that looks like literal reboot.
So then he shows Will his sack. He's like, in this sack is a master race of spiders.
And I'm going to throw them on planet Earth, and they're going to eat all the people that are probably still not dead.
But it's like, yeah, but okay, that was a problem in space, but on Earth, we got like a lot of guns and shit.
Well,
and we could just kill them. Like, can these spiders move to cold climates? They like heat, so we could probably have a lot of weapons in colder climate. Yeah,
Are they super spiders? Like when the Venezuelan spider had sex with the house spider and made new deadlier spiders?
Maybe, I don't know. But also, it's like, wait, Will could just send you into the middle of a military base and they'll be like, giant Spider-Man!
Or like into the sun.
No, because fucking Wayland Yutani is gonna get this thing and try to make like a fucking
I'm like, I get
bioweapon.
that his brain is turning into spider, but it's like, this plan doesn't make sense. You're just gonna die as soon as you show up.
None of this movie makes sense.
Well, then he just, speaking of, he just gives up on Will entirely. He's like, well, my secret's out. Goodbye, Will, and throws him like off the, not like into the spot where he'd be disintegrated, but like off into the side where he's like kind of hanging in between rubble and the portal. He's like, oh.
So then John is fighting Smith with the trophy. They made a point, Will's trophy comes into play. But then we get, the pain.
The pain. The pain.
Dr. Smith line.
Dr. Smith
You'd
classic.
be like, the pain, the pain. But when it's a CGI spider,
it makes no sense in the context.
and again, you know what? It's funny. This reminds me of RoboCop 2 and Lawnmower Man.
Lawnmower Man, yeah.
But I mean, in terms of like, this was a really, really good villain.
Yeah.
And now it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Because like Kane is really cool in RoboCop 2. And then he turns into a stop motion toy with the CGI face. I'm like, this no longer feels like Kane.
I like that.
I like it as its own thing, but I'm like, he
is
feels less scary.
Yes, but this is a totally different.
But also,
problem.
same thing with Lawnmower Man, where like Job is really cool, and then he's stuck in CGI form, and you're like, we just lost the best thing in this.
It kind of also makes sense for that. This doesn't make any sense.
It does. I mean, I guess
He's
on the
barely
page it makes sense,
but he's barely a spider anyway.
Yes,
he's more Mr. Fantastic with the way that neck is moving.
He looks like Snake Man.
Yeah, it's.
So then he slices Smith's belly, and he's like, "Yeah, they eat their wounded." I'm like, "Do the babies eat their wounded?" Like,
yes, they do apparently.
So they immediately hatch. I don't know if they're ready to hatch, but they hatch, and then they just start eating him. And then he falls into the portal and gets shredded. He doesn't fall into.
He falls in the exact
middle.
right spot.
In the right spot to just get shredded.
Well, it's not big enough for him to fit through anyway.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Although spiders can get in. Spiders are known for like squeezing.
You think one got in?
Yeah, hopefully.
When he fell?
One, right? And that's
all
what's
it
in
takes.
that movie, Infested. Or not Infested. What's the one that there's like? Did you see any of those new Spider movies? That
No, I didn't see Sting. I wanted to see Sting.
That's what that is. It's a Dr. Smith spider that
got
it.
crash lands on.
That was another one. I saw the
Manhattan or
preview. I
Brooklyn.
thought it was good. It was in theaters for like 2 weeks.
I saw it on the
Gone.
very last day it was in theaters. It was awesome.
I thought it was going to be in theaters longer. It could look good, and then I'm just like, oh, it's not. Is it streaming yet?
I don't know
didn't
if
see
it's
it
streaming.
Probably.
If it is streaming, jump on it because it's a really good flick.
I think the other one eventually streamed. Infested.
Infested, the French one. That's
Yeah.
the different one. Yeah, that was on Shudder, I think, and that was awesome too. In a different way.
Yeah. But yeah, just stick to Arachnophobia. Arachnophobia holds up so well. Way better than it has any right
Oh,
to.
Arachnophobia is fantastic.
So good.
Those other two are worthy of it.
Yeah. I did want to check out Sting.
Infested is like Arachnophobia and Wreck together.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, Smith is dead. Future Smith is dead. Don and the family take off before the planet crumbles, and then they all fucking die.
Let me tell you what, I forgot that happened,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh. Now
And-
what?
I remembered as it was happening. I was like, oh yeah, they like die or something, and he uses the time machine.
Yeah.
I was like, why?
I can't stress enough. William Hurt was a great actor. Not in this movie. His reaction to the death, he's like, ah.
he acts like it's a non-issue.
Did you? Okay.
Sleepwalking through
Have you
it.
ever seen? It's a clip from some reality show, but it gets clipped all the time. Where it's like the male model, and they're trying to get him to do different poses. They're like, "Okay, Jim, your dog died. And you're sad." And he's like shirtless and ripped, and he goes, "Ah." And then he immediately starts posing again. This is what it reminded me of. Like William Hurt's like, okay. And I'm like, dude, your whole family just died. in
I also
front
think
of
it's
you.
equally hilariously bad that, like, as this debris is about to hit the ship, they just basically all give up. Like, Don's just like, well, that's it. We're done. And it just hits them. He doesn't even try to go
'Cause
under it.
The point is, the thing is, like, they can't break out of the gravitational
Well, that's
thing.
it.
They tried to go up and it didn't work. But I'm like, you can't turn.
But
You
Matt
can't
LeBlanc
spin.
is just like, well, That's it. And they get hit by a fucking meteor.
Will grabs his mother, embracing her, like, oh!
Well, that's the thing. That Phantom Menace didn't come out. They didn't know that spinning is a good trick. He should have tried spinning. It's a good trick.
Yeah.
The hide shit, yeah.
So yeah, they're all fucking dead.
Not for long.
Then Future Will is like, wait a minute, Dad. I'll send you back to warn everyone.
Now,
And
in my head,
yeah.
you're sending yourself back to like a point that's not in complete fucking peril.
Yeah.
Right? This
Yeah.
motherfucker's about to go back, I don't know, 200 years or some shit.
Oh, originally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now send him back literally 2 minutes
2
before
minutes.
death,
Yeah.
if that.
Yeah. If I'm because his real name's William Hurt, it's fucking me up.
Yeah.
If I'm John, I'd be like, wait, send me back to when we launched, because I look I could be like, hey, I am proof that I am him.
Yeah.
I'm from the
And
future.
I'll stop Gary
Dr.
Oldman and
Smith,
everything will be fine.
Dr. Smith is on that ship. Get him off. I don't know what happens to me afterwards. Do I hang around? Do I fade into obscure? I don't know what happens.
This is the
it's a
problem.
paradox.
This is the problem anytime time travel is introduced. That's why we mentioned Terminator earlier.
Yeah.
It's like Terminator does it good. It's like it's one-way. They fucked it up later in the series, but originally it's like it's a one-way trip. Now it's like this weird thing. It's like, well, we could go to any point in time, and well, there's this weird rule. It's like you go through, but you can still kind of see through the portal for like 30 seconds. So
Yeah.
I don't know why Will can't just jump through, but there's not enough energy. But we can still have a conversation.
You just see. You can't go through.
Yeah, it's
apparently.
just
The
it's
spider
too convoluted.
The spider thing just fucking died.
Yeah.
There was enough energy to keep going after that thing got eaten up.
He didn't go through the middle. You got to go through the middle.
Whatever.
And
Anyway.
if you're on the edge, you just
Austin
get shredded.
Powers time travel makes more sense. That I guess is where I was going.
I've gone cross-eyed. Wouldn't I be here?
They overthought this one a little.
So yeah, he sends the dad back. He like tosses him.
But it's only like 2 minutes before.
Yeah.
And they all see him, and he's like, "Oh, Mom!" And he starts crying. He's like, "Oh, thank God, I got to see you again." As debris falling
Yeah.
on
He's
him.
looking through the hole. He's like, well, see you later.
Goodbye. And then like as soon as he's saying bye, they just get hit by the meteorite because he forgot about it. But no, he sends him back and he's like, well, I hope you all are gonna do well. And he's like, I'm gonna die alone now on this planet, and I hope the new timeline works out better than mine.
What was the plan? We're going back 2 minutes in time.
Yeah.
The ship cannot get the trajectory to get off the planet.
Yeah.
The height or the lift.
Yes. So he tells
So
him to
he
go.
tells them to go through the planet.
Yeah.
Now, Matt LeBlanc was the one to suggest this in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Why the fuck didn't he do that again?
Why didn't they go?
Well, that was a different thing. Well, he was using the hyperdrive. They don't use the hyperdrive.
I know,
in
but he's
this
a hell of
case.
a pilot, so it's like, that's
Yeah.
what happens.
Well, he thought he could break out of the gravitational pull, and he didn't. You, someone who flies spaceships should probably know this,
Yeah.
but he
Especially like
doesn't.
how all these fucking rocks
Yeah.
are coming in.
But also, they're like, yeah, let's go through the planet. I'm like, yeah, because we know what's down there.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck are you
the
talking
core of
about?
the fucking planet if you're not doing hyperdrive.
Yeah, my
I mean, you
planet-
went through the fucking sun.
Yeah.
But
I'm like, does the planet have a molten core? Are we gonna make it through that?
Well, they're gonna slingshot off of it because they don't like they use a slingshot concept, which is in a lot of sci-fi movies, but I
Yeah.
feel like they're assuming the audience isn't overthinking it now because it's just like, well, in all those other scenarios, like I can look at the science without knowing a ton about it and be like, no, hey, yeah, okay, yeah, slingshot. Now it's just like, oh, what are you slingshotting off of?
but if you're going straight at the core, why wouldn't the core just pull you in and fucking kill your ass?
I don't know. It makes no sense.
Okay, so you're going in, and it's like you have that extreme gravity at this epicenter, and then it pushes you out at full
Yeah,
trajectory.
but you
I
have
guess,
to
right?
get around it.
I don't know.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Future Will. One thing he forgot to say, he was like, "All right, I'll see y'all later. Don't forget to kill Smith. He's turning into a spider."
yeah.
He forgot.
Well, they all know. He knows now. Now Professor knows.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you brought Smith. Why would you bring Smith? He's a spider. Kick him out."
They're gonna cure him in the sequel.
So I will say the effects for going through the planet are awesome
One
and
of the
I'm
better
like, why didn't-
sequences.
Yeah, they're okay.
compared to what we saw at the beginning of
No,
the
for
film.
sure. Yeah,
They really backloaded all the good effects minus the spider at the end. I'm like, what the fuck?
that's what they feel like afterthoughts in the beginning.
Yeah.
and like the other time.
So yeah, they escape the exploding planet. Judy and Don make out in front of their parents, which is awkward.
This one's for being great, and this
This one's on credit.
Credit.
Yeah.
And then the planet turns into a black hole and it's sucking them in.
So much for a dead fish, huh, Tom?
And then they're like, what are we going to do? And they're like, looks like we're doing that hyperdrive again, baby.
Lost in space again.
Boom. Here we go again. Like, all the witty line. Here we go again. cool. It's like, oh my God. And then like
a bad remix.
it's a remix with all the great lines we heard throughout the film mixed in. And by the way, it's like seizure induced. I'm like, that's I'm not epileptic, but even me, I'm like, that's hurting.
Like,
Stop
holy
it.
shit.
Stop it.
Couldn't they have at least been like the one-liners from the show at least? Like if you're gonna do the callback?
I don't know. They should have played Deep Purple Space Truckin'.
They should have.
Fucking just like shot into space.
But yeah, they all get lost in space. Now there was an additional part of the ending here.
Oh God, with big Blarp.
Yeah, so the girl's story at one point, they're like, "Where'd Penny go? I don't understand where Penny went." And then they find her at the ship. She's like, "Come on, let's get in the ship." And then afterwards, when everything's all said and done, they look over, the door opens up, and it's Big Blarp on the ship. And it's like, Big Blarp, Penny Robertson. And then the dad's like, what? And Maureen's like, it's a long story. No, literally, I'm not even, I'm not even the cliche. It's literally, it's a long story. And Big Blarp's like, hi. And then they go into whatever.
But like,
Talk about a tonal clash.
that's the type of movie that I wanted.
Yeah.
Well,
You know?
if you're
Also,
gonna do it,
like-
yeah.
I guess what do you call Galaxy Quest does
Yeah.
it better.
But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking at the size of Blarp, and I'm like, what does that thing eat?
Yeah.
Shoot it out the airlock.
Even though
And
Dr.
little
Smith's.
Blarp.
That's what it eats.
there you go. So
Specifically.
there's a symbiotic relationship there where like if he turns into a spider, has more spiders, it's food for Big Blarp.
Unlimited food supply. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so Big Blarp, rest in peace.
R.I.P. Big Blarp.
You know, I did read that they were gonna, like you said, they were gonna do a sequel or 2 sequels.
Yeah.
So maybe they were like, well, we don't know what we're gonna do with Blarp in the sequel, so just cut her out. We don't know what's gonna
We
happen
made
with
the
that.
puppet. We'll use it for the next one.
Yeah. Blarp,
Or more, yeah, maybe that, yeah.
Blarp went on to be very successful. Starred in King of Queens. And then worked with Adam Sandler on a few things for the Happy Madison productions.
Wait, what?
Oh.
Paul Blart.
Paul Blarp.
Oh, god damn you.
Blart.
Now
It was a bad joke.
Now I have
tried.
to Photoshop Paul Blarp Mall Cop, you asshole.
Only if you keep this part in the episode.
You realize now that the Hack the Movies wallpaper for the month, one of us needs to be Spider-Smith, dibs, and we all need to be getting bear hugged by Big Blarp.
Big Blarp.
I want you two in the suits, me as
Okay.
Spider-Smith, and Big Blarp bear hugging.
Can I be
us.
Matt LeBlanc?
You can be Matt
right.
LeBlanc, okay?
I'll be Dr. Smith. Fuck
You
it.
could be you could be
can't
normal
be-
Dr.
oh, no,
Smith.
normal
I'll
Dr.
be
Smith.
Spider-Smith.
I'll be normal. Yeah, exactly.
Actually,
exactly.
let carte blanche.
Or I could
whatever
be the kid. I'll be fucking Will Robinson.
whatever the artist wants to do.
Oh, there you go. Make it funny.
I just really want to see Paul Blarp be like, and now I'm calling it Paul Blarp and not Big Blarp.
On the scooter. He's on the Segway.
It's so fucking stupid. Lost in Space. Look, I loved it as a kid. I revisited it a couple times over the years. I think I even did a solo commentary track for it years ago when the show came out. It gets worse every time I watch it. I feel bad because I liked it so much as a kid, but I'm like, no, this is rough. This is rough. It doesn't really capture the spirit of the original, and then it fails at being like hip and updated because so many other cooler shit was coming out around that time. So it's just kind of there's a few good things in there, some cool set design, creature design, but other than that,
It's a damn shame, is what it is.
No.
And again, like we've been saying through the whole episode, like they didn't pick a lane, and you needed to do either like the Brady Bunch thing or like the Addams Family thing, and then just stick to it. You could have also had that fish out of water thing where it's like these space people live in this futuristic thing, and they're like on the outside.
I mean, it's
they're
based on the Swiss Family Robinson.
I know,
Why isn't it that?
But
Right,
it could be joking where they go on their own mission and it gets fucked up. You know what I mean, or whatever. And they're
why
like,
didn't
well,
they call it Space Family Robinson?
That was a little too on the nose.
Whatever.
I'm just guessing.
But like if they
Ask
did-
Irwin Allen.
But if they made it more of a comedy,
Yeah.
I think it would have worked better. Again, like it's got like. Whereas the new Lost in Space is very much that serious tone.
But
thing.
it still
works, though.
It still feels like in spirit with it because it's about family working together
sure,
and
but
stuff like that.
It definitely has its own tone, though.
Yes. And the robot is very different.
Yeah.
They kind of mix the robot with Debbie the Bloop. They mix it. It's like an
Okay.
alien robot.
I'm gonna watch more of it. after
Yeah,
that
I think
first
you would really like it.
episode.
And like
Like
I
a
said,
cyborg
has an
kinda
ending.
thing.
Has a really good ending.
I don't know, man. Like there's a few things that I like, and I think a few things that work. The CG was a gross misstep. You should have just did the miniatures. They should have did the Jim Henson puppet for Blarp.
Yeah.
Because some of the shit is so glaringly awful, it's like I can't get past it. And William Hurt's fucking sleepwalking through this movie. And
really?
And like I feel bad for LeBlanc and Oldman because they look like they're having fun.
Yeah.
At least trying. Yeah.
Heather
Oldman was like jumping to do it.
Yeah, and Heather Graham's just kind of there.
I mean, he's Dr. Smith.
Yeah. He's really good. I would like to see him with a better script.
He was too evil for his own good in this movie. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely like a 1-star for me, like especially as a fan of of the old show. I mean, if I wasn't a fan of the show, maybe I'd rate this a little higher, honestly. I'd be curious to hear people that have no nostalgia that see this and like, do they just think it's a decent sci-fi film or do they also think it sucks? Like, I don't know, maybe people in your comments will let us know, but...
It's not, though. It's not even a good sci-fi film.
Well, that's what I mean.
It's really
but
not.
You never know. People like weird shit. We like weird shit. You never know how it's going to land.
It is.
But for me, it's just such a fucking disappointment. Like you said, Tony, as a kid, definitely watched it a decent amount. It wasn't like the movie we put on every time, but often enough. But now
I
it's
watched it
like
a bunch,
on this rewatch, I was just appalled. I was like I said earlier, like my dad must have been like really upset in the theater. You know, he probably played it off at the time because he's pretty easygoing. But damn, this is
maybe
rough
this
as a
looked
fan.
cooler in 1998, and he was all like, "That is the best special effect I've ever seen."
I think that
Maybe.
And then he goes into Godzilla next theater over, and he's like even better than
Well, I
the
saw that
previous.
with him too, so maybe he was upset about that also. Bad
Meanwhile, Titanic's still playing with like great effects.
There are swaths of this that are just fucking boring.
That too.
And
Oh my god.
And that's a problem because
Slow as hell.
It's so long. They could have chopped this down and left in fucking giant blarp, and it would have been better.
Yeah.
Not,
I mean,
not totally better. But better.
Make some more references to the original show.
Yeah.
Not that you got to shoehorn that shit in there, but there's like it feels like barely anything. And I wonder if someone ever actually compiled it. But just outside of the bloop, which is not even fucking called,
it has nothing to do with the series at all.
Very little.
Any plot points.
I will say, I was
setup. That's
going back. I really wish Deep Rising was the one that would have overthrown Titanic. Instead,
too.
Titanic killed it.
the other Stephen Summers.
Yes,
the better Steven.
Well,
I would argue.
I mean, that movie has some dodgy CGI toward the end, but it's way better than
for
this.
the most part, it looks really good.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm just saying
It's
he's
a
also
criminally underrated movie.
He's got Mummy Returns.
Yeah.
He's got a few other films on his
I reviewed Deep Rising with my boat captain friend, Captain Boomies.
Oh yeah, we did that. We did that for our Blockbuster Bombs month, like in the second year.
a while
of,
ago,
of the show.
Great movie.
And we did a watch along of it too. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's good.
Way
It's good.
better
Say that
than
a lot,
this.
but, yeah.
It's good. It really holds up.
It's so good.
Watch both our episodes on
Yeah.
Deep Rising.
There you go. Well, you can watch Tony's and you can listen to ours because we didn't do video.
You watch mine on mute, but play their audio. So
Good strategy.
You'll be staring at me and Captain Boomies, but you'll be hearing Joe. And
There you go.
Sean.
There you go.
Perfection, naturally.
The best of both worlds.
Connor's even on there, so there you go.
And Connor, even better.
Yeah.
Our old co-host.
Where's that third voice coming from? Space Cat, I guess.
Oh man, but yeah, Lost His Place. I'm glad we finally, because this is kind of like in my wheelhouse for this show, but I'm glad because we covered his other movies. I'm glad we finally came back for this.
I mean, Predator 2 is so fucking good.
That's why it
It's
just
so
doesn't
good.
click for me.
And
that
here's
this
the
is
thing,
such a departure from that.
And Stephen Hopkins had a career after this. He did
Yeah.
another movie with like Morgan Freeman and Gene Hackman, but he never
a lot
did
of
like
TV too.
He does a lot of TV. He does. I think we said he did the Olympics, the Nazi Olympics with the Black Runner. He did a biopic on him.
That was him.
I think we talked about it in
Yeah.
the last review. We went
Yeah,
through
yeah,
his
yeah.
credits.
Oh,
so
maybe, yeah.
he's still active. But yeah, this was like his last big budget thing. Like I guess this underperformed and they scaled it down.
I
a
think
little bit.
he doesn't bounce back until 24, and then gets hired to shoot episodes of 24. I think.
Yeah, I think that's what did it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of it. Also, I forget the name, but thanks whoever sent that in the mailbag, the Lost in Space robot, the battle ravaged robot.
That's so cool that it was a fan thing.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. Maybe I'll collect Lost in Space toys and talk about it on Peg Warmers. I'm
sure
said
Kevin would love that.
I said I wasn't going to do it, but I've caught myself buying Spawn movie figures because the Spawn episode did really well, and I want to talk about those on Peg Warmers. I have Mal Bolgel over there.
I know you do.
The original design before they redesigned him.
Oh,
Oh, did you know that
I'll
the
have
toy was the puppet design that K&B did, and then
Oh,
they completely
really?
got rid of it.
See,
Yeah.
that was another gross misstep too. Just
Yeah.
use the fucking puppet.
Although, but imagine that puppet in a shitty CGI background. It would have
Totally
looked
fine.
really weird. It would
Would've-
have looked like a puppet.
So just make it all shitty.
That's like, one movie that needed to replace the puppet with CGI, actually. Elves. Elves. That puppet was horrible.
Elves, that puppet worked, but then it broke, and they were like, "Fuck it, we're just gonna keep using." it.
Tony, you got to do elves at some point.
Oh,
I
man.
really do. I love elves.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that is it from us.
Stay tuned for Ghost in the Darkness sometime.
Ghost in the Darkness.
Next
Yes,
year.
we will come back from Ghost in the Darkness.
We gotta bring Steve back from this shit.
But like I said earlier, if you want to see us talk about Val Kilmer, please watch the Island of Dr. Moreau review. Let's talk about another movie that got real fucked over in production and whatnot.
Over on Movie Dumpster.
Yes.
You can find us wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes.
Or you can go to moviedumpsterpodcast.com. We got Patreon. We got a store. We got all the kinds of good stuff. And we're right here on YouTube if you want to subscribe and check it out.
And I also have those things. And a cameo.
Yeah.
Someone made me say happy birthday to their wife because her present was late.
Did she know who you were?
Yes, they
Oh, okay.
apparently were a
Okay.
fan.
Okay.
I actually call it out in the video. I'm like, that's kind of suspicious that the woman is a fan. I'm like, usually it's like guys and they make their girlfriend watch. It's the first time I heard of it the opposite way. I'm like, I don't know if this is real.
If you're ever like really desperate for cash, you could just put some of those masks that are off camera on and be like, "I'm Dracula.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Chewbacca."
It's Gary. Oh God, it's falling apart.
Oh, no.
It's starting to break.
It's got the latex rod, dude.
Now I get why the guy I bought this from had it wrapped in plastic in a box for 20 years.
And you just leave it out in the fucking open
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
with the elements.
They make newer ones. They're pricier. They make newer ones. So when this eventually does fall apart, I could just get a new one.
I'm just saying, if the
Kind
the
of
money
looking like Vladimir Putin.
if the money starts, the bank account gets low, Tony, do some Dracula cameos. You get Mummy Cop. You got
Yeah.
Jason over there.
You do all those good impressions of all the
Oh, they're
characters.
perfect.
Okay, wait, hold on. Hold on. If you guys are watching my shorts or on my socials, me doing like Ghostface. Hey guys, Tony from Hack the Movies here. I thought I'd do something fun for you today. I'm going to do my Ghostface impression. You ready? Okay. I'm Ghostface. What's that scary movie you like? I'm gonna stab ya. I think Roger Jackson would be proud. I think I nailed it. Let me know how I did and suggest other impressions that I can do. I sound like Joey C for a second. Let me tell you. So that night when I recorded those, I went out. My sister had a table at an event. She was selling her stuff. My mom was there. She couldn't finish like a Moscow Mule that she had. So I bought one because I wanted to see what it tastes like. And she couldn't finish it. So she poured hers into mine.
So you had a double.
So I had a double and I was like, these mules ain't do shit. And then I came back and I recorded the video. My Scream 2 work print or Scream 2 TV cut, I am hammered. And I posted a clip where I called her Spidney. I'm like Spidney. So then afterwards, I did the Ghostface and the Freddy Krueger thing.
Like back to back.
Back to back. But then they
Text
did
me the next day. You're like, oh, don't ever drink that. You get a
Oh
hangover.
no, that was a different event.
That was a different one?
That was the Godzilla Day event. Oh God, that killed me. Tim had 4 of those fuckers.
Holy shit.
Anyway, so then people really liked them. So I'm like, oh fuck, those are easy to do. So I did a bunch of other.
The Leatherface was my favorite.
Yeah,
Do your
those
thing, cuz naturally.
pig
Right?
sounds. But the first 2, I am fucking. I don't know how I recorded that fucking video on Scream 2. And you see me, I'm like kind of like sweating a little bit because
Eyes are bloodshot.
because it hit me so late. I'm like, I'm fine. Drove home. Everyone's fine. And then like 20 minutes in recording, I'm like, I'm trying.
Did you wake up the next morning and you were like, oh fuck, did I just do that last
I
time?
wasn't hungover, luckily, but yeah, I did look at the video and I'm like, that was funnier than I thought it would be. But yeah, all right, that's it. We're getting lost in this review. Goodbye,
Lost in
everyone.
space. Ah!
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.
Talking about tapes.